Welcome to episode 111 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast. For those that are watching us live, technical difficulties kept us going. Kept from getting on time. My computer is old and it does not like to start up, so I had to restart it. But we're here. We're now live, and Katie's gonna read our sponsors.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you pulled up. Look at that.
I do. I'm ready.
Go, Katie.
If you are looking for a high quality PVC rack, look no further than Lone Star Reptile Racks. They offer a variety of sizes for all types of snakes, geckos, rats, and more. You can even order something custom. Shipping is available, or you can plan to pick up at a Herps Reptile show near you. Visit lsreptileracks.com to reach out to Lone Star Reptile Racks and place your order today.
And
as you can see, Robert is not with us.
Whoa. Robert is not here tonight. He didn't die.
No. I didn't say he was no longer with us.
He is still with us, people. I don't want you to think that Robert died.
Is feeling worse today than he was yesterday. But we're hoping that means that tomorrow he will be on the upswing.
He does not have COVID for anybody. He is COVID free. Back to our vendors, our sponsors real quick. Herps Reptile shows, April 16th and 17th coming up is Temple, Texas. That's the Easter show. April 23rd and 24th. I'll be at this one, Austin, Texas. June 4th and 5th. That is Lafayette, Louisiana. Back over to Louisiana. I think we'll be there.
We will be there.
June 11th and 12th. That's Katie's birthday weekend. We'll be in Conroe.
Yep.
And then June 25th, 26th is Longview, Texas. And July 23rd, 24th is the next Slidell, which we just had a Slidell. It's crazy.
Ooh, we could go to that one. It's in the summer.
It's during the summer. We can go to that one.
And
will you be back in time?
Yeah. Your mom might still be here, actually.
She could go with us.
Or she could keep Joe here.
That's true. And it could just be us.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Adults only trip. But anyways, that's the future of the Herp shows coming up. Also, thanks to our friends over at Wiregrass Exotics. Go visit the Ruas over at Wiregrass Exotics. They are amazing people. Dallas and Amanda over in Ozark, Alabama. If you don't know where Ozark, Alabama is, it's hard to explain. It's in nowhere. Go to Troy, and then you'll find Ozark. And Troy's like 2 miles bigger than Ozark. But anyways, this weekend we had a show in, as Chris likes to say, Beaumont, but in Beaumont, Texas. We had a show in Beaumont, Texas. It was interesting. It was slowish, but man, Robert did well. Mm-hmm. Robert left with almost nothing.
You sold 2 snakes.
I did sell 2 snakes. It felt very weird to set up a booth and sell snakes. It's probably been a year since I've sold snakes.
Yeah.
But I am mite free. Knock on the wood.
I was going to say.
And so I sold snakes. I sold a rainbow boa and I sold a sand boa. And then I will be in Austin with my rainbow boas and sand boas, and I'll hopefully sell a rainbow boa and a sand boa there.
Yep.
And another rainbow boa. And another rainbow boa. And another rainbow boa.
Or more.
I've got a handful more. I kept 1.2, which we found out Megan sucks at this whole snake keeping thing. She doesn't know what those fucking numbers mean. Katie, do you know what they mean?
Ever remember. One is boys and one is girls. That's all I got.
Well, which one comes first?
Snake keeping.
Boys come first.
Yes, as they should.
Because it's alphabetical.
I just don't know what the numbers mean. And I don't care. I'm not breeding. I want the snake that's pretty, that I like, that
Agreed.
I can afford.
Yeah, but
Same.
But you don't like pretty snakes.
I do like pretty snakes.
She has good taste in snakes.
I have great taste
You
in
have
snakes.
bad taste in
I have amazing
snakes.
taste in snakes.
Whatever. Bring in our guests. We can let them weigh in on this.
It's fun to watch them sit there and wait.
Becca and Drew like me, so.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce them since you kind of said their name? Here, I'm going to bring them in. You can introduce them.
Oh, sure.
Are you ready?
Why not?
Are you ready? Here they go.
Sure. We have Becca and Drew from the Learning Zoo. That rhymes.
Located in Conroe, Texas.
Located in Conroe, Texas.
Hi, guys.
How's it going?
It's good. It does rhyme. Sometimes I get confused and I call myself Drew Keeper Zoo, which is always embarrassing.
Something I would do.
Yeah,
I'd flip-flop it.
I would do.
It's fabulous. I'm so glad you guys could come tonight.
Yeah.
I think the last time you were on, I couldn't be on.
Man.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
you weren't with James. Like you were somewhere else and your internet was out or going in and out or something.
I was probably doing
You're probably at
something
camp.
with Joe.
Or you're at camp.
Yeah. Again, something with Joe.
That's fine.
Being a parent.
This year when you're at camp, we'll just get Megan
That's
to
right.
fill in.
Megan can fill in for me.
It's nice to be child free. Not gonna lie.
She's old enough now. It's not that big of a pain.
At least she's self sufficient.
That
at
is
this
true.
Point.
So, how's everything going over at the Learning Zoo?
It's good. We're finally out of winter, so I'm not freaking out every time the temperature drops. And I'm about to go and take all the thermostats and heaters out of everyone's outdoor barns and enclosures and put them away for the year. And plants are growing again, which is nice. It doesn't look terrible out here.
Y'all just had a super busy weekend too.
Oh God, yeah.
I saw your post.
Yeah, I think we had in the span of one weekend like 7 or 8 things going on.
Yeah.
Which normally we do like 3 a day. And that's not even spring break. Like that week, I think we had like, I know I personally did 18 shows or tours or birthday parties that week.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was dead by the end of it.
So the two of us are horrible people, Katie and I, because we still haven't been there. It's an hour and a half away and we still haven't been there.
It's amazing. It's beautiful. Katie will be there in 2 weeks.
I will.
For our ladies brunch.
So will I.
Oh, that's right.
I identify as a lady for that day.
No, sir. I think not.
You're not woke enough to understand. You can't tell me I can't identify as a lady. I can identify as a lady.
I identify as a pig in a blanket, so I'm going to be there with all the food.
See? You can identify as whatever you want to these days.
No, James. No.
And you have to accept it.
You're not invited. I accept nothing.
Oh, I identify as someone that was invited also. You didn't get
are
that?
uninvited.
You can't uninvite me.
Yes, I can.
Anyways. So the learning zoo, how big is it? Like, 'cause I don't have no idea what it looks like, how it's set up or anything. What is your setup there?
It's not huge. The land we have is a little bit over an acre. And right now we're using maybe a third of that for the actual zoo. Because we have a pretty big area out front for parking. And then we have the old 60s farmhouse that we converted into the reptile house. And once you go past that, then we have tortoises and the petting zoo and everything else. But then behind that, there's like a quarter of an acre that we haven't done anything with yet, that we're going to be building mammal and birding enclosures in, hopefully in the next year or so.
That sounds horrible. You should get crocodiles.
I wish. Montgomery County won't let us.
Really? Even as a zoo?
You can get the permit for like dangerous wild animals, so like crocodiles, cats, exotic hoofstock, primates. But to do it, you have to be able to put their enclosure 1,000 feet from your nearest neighbor.
Well, I know for a fact if you don't ask, you can definitely have them in Montgomery County.
No.
Yeah, but then I
Let's
can't
not
advertise
talk
and make
about
money from it.
That is true. That is true. I'm just saying.
Let's not talk about it.
I know you can have them. Well, that sucks because crocodilians are also so much better than birds.
We've got a monitor we're raising up who's going to be pretty big soon, and we're looking at getting some other cool stuff that would be not a crocodile, but still pretty interesting.
You're
Becca
breathing
just
up on the mat.
opened like an extra special part of the zoo that I'm so excited to see. Please tell us about that.
Well, you can now meet a real life unicorn at the Learning Zoo. You can have a tea party in an enchanted unicorn garden, and you can meet Elsa, our unicorn, and braid her hair, decorate her with bows and fun stuff. And I have a whole tea set up. It's really cute.
I know what I will be doing for my birthday this year, and I'm not ashamed.
Hey, you know how
Photographs are
how I wasn't
adorable.
invited in 2 weekends? Don't invite me to that.
Megan, you're old
you don't
enough
want to
that
get
you
your
can
hair braided?
the real cups, because we have little paper cups for the young kids they have like a fold out handle and they're adorable, but they're not going to get broken if they drop them.
Yeah.
So
Good call.
you have the real china.
Yes.
Nice.
I feel extra special now.
You are.
Love it.
Oh, so I had questions and my brain went blank. I can't remember now.
It was a very long day in 3rd grade, so my brain's a little fried.
Oh, I get it.
I mean,
Right now, we're going over animal adaptations. I'm in a 2nd grade classroom, and I am not getting through to these kids. Like, these kids don't even know the difference between an herbivore, omnivore, carnivore. So you have to like build on that first to even get into animal adaptations. And it's been
So I teach high school 9th graders and they don't know the difference between an herbivore, and a carnivore. So
Herbivore, omnivore, carnivore.
what did I say?
You said herbivore twice.
I fucking hate vegetables. Omnivores. But
So what I'm hearing is there's no hope for the children.
no, they're screwed.
No.
I had to explain today that frogs, unlike cartoons, cannot stick their tongue all the way out of their mouth and shoot across and get bugs. That's chameleons. And my kids are like, what? Like, the kids, well, how do they eat? Like with their mouth. They open their mouth and they grab food. What do you?
Oh wow!
But they're like, because the cartoons have always told them that frogs stick their tongue way out of their mouth and shoot across the room and
that
grab flies.
Tortoises take their shells off.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can do that.
And
I
leave
mean,
them places.
cartoons also tell me that if I get hit by a bus, I'll bounce right back up.
That's
so
true.
Yeah, if you shoot yourself in the face with a shotgun, you'll look funny for a second, but then you'll be
Yeah.
fine in the next scene.
Wile E. Coyote and a Roadrunner.
yeah.
But you know what? I've still never done that to myself, so I don't think cartoons are that bad.
Mm-mm.
You can't find any of the cartoons we just explained. You cannot find on TV.
Yeah, you can.
Where?
They come on the Boomerang channel.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, the original Looney Tunes.
They hit them somewhere like in channel like 507.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's on the Boomerang channel because you can also watch Yogi Bear.
What a klepto.
All the Flintstones,
Jetsons.
Jetsons,
Okay,
like that whole.
But none of that is blowing themselves up and shooting each other.
No, but that whole era of cartoon, Pound Puppies.
You know what you can't find? Speedy Gonzales.
That's probably true.
You can't find that one.
That's probably true.
That's
You also can't find Pepe Le Pew cartoons anymore.
darn. I was never a Pepe Le Pew fan.
Yeah, I never thought they were that good.
It's
Even
too
though-
harassing now.
It was too harassing then.
I agree.
I still like Speedy Gonzales. I don't think that seemed like a positive. He was fast. He did good things. He saved the day. I don't get it.
I have nothing to add here.
You didn't watch Speedy Gonzales?
I did. I watched all of
It
them.
was great.
We had like the whole collection of Looney Tunes on DVD.
I'd say we have a DVD somewhere. Although all of our DVDs are still in a box.
My
Will McReady
cat,
said they're on HBO Max. We can find them on HBO
Oh,
Max.
there you go.
my cat reminds me of Marvin the Martian because he's solid black and all I see are his eyes.
We need to have a moment real quick.
For what?
We need to talk and acknowledge Will McCready
Oh,
because Will McCready made my whole freaking weekend.
at Beaumont.
It was glorious. I worked the register up front at the Herp shows. He walks in. I tell him how much his entrance is, take his money, give him a stamp, all that good stuff. And then he goes, "Are you one of the people on the Reptile Gumbo podcast?"
Fucking BS.
What? It was the coolest moment ever. I was like, we have to go talk to the boys right now.
The
Let's
small
go.
things in life, apparently.
Made my whole freaking day. It was a hell of a lot better than getting shot at by a confetti cannon.
What's funny?
Fucking Sean Gray.
Sean Gray got you twice, and he got me once.
3 times. He got me twice on Saturday and once on Sunday.
That's fine. I've got his. I'm gonna get him back for the one time he got me.
It was
So.
awful.
Sounds
By the way,
necessarily aggressive.
The confetti cannons sound like a shotgun going off next to your ear.
Wonderful.
They are insanely loud.
And if you're too close to someone, the end of the cap will shoot off and bounce off of your body and leave a red mark.
Ow.
That is true.
That was awful.
That did happen. Not to me.
My back hurt for like the next 6 hours. I'm not going to lie. It was rough. He did not mean to do that. Like that was genuinely not the
Lies.
point.
He meant it.
No.
He did it on purpose.
It was all, well, between the two of us, it was all in good fun. Now you and him, that's a totally different story. And
Oh,
I
it'll
had
be in good fun.
Nothing to do with
I'll
that.
have good fun.
Aren't y'all so glad that you agreed to be on here tonight?
Yeah,
Anyways.
I feel like I was there.
You should have been. Anyways, so back to the learning zoo.
So you guys have been open for just over a year, right?
Yeah,
Year
we
and
had
a
our
half?
first anniversary during spring break.
Okay. Yeah, because when I met Becca for the first time at our very first Herpers brunch, actually, I didn't realize that y'all had not been open that long. How long did it take you guys to how long did you guys have to work to get it set up before you could finally open your doors?
5 months.
Longer than that because we bought the property in May of 2020, and so like 10 months. But I wouldn't say that we were finished when we opened in March. Like we still added a few things. Like when we started doing our first few parties and tours out here, our big male sulcata was just roaming around in the back. Like it was a coin toss whether you'd actually see him that day or not. And we finished building his pen in July or August.
Yeah, y'all have done a lot since, because I was there last August when you guys did your fundraiser day, and y'all have done a lot since then. And I mean, it looked good even at that time. but it looks awesome now. And you've got your kitchen, which
just
did
finished
you
that.
which Becca, can you talk about that for a little bit? Because I had mentioned that to James. We went to the zoo a couple weekends ago, and I had mentioned it to James. We were talking about it. And I know you had said something about it had to be, was it AZA accredited or accredited or something? Yeah. So what's the deal? Is your whole zoo AZA accredited, or is it just one portion?
No, none of it is AZA accredited.
Drew's face is exactly how James felt when he said it.
I've gone through that process before, and I was like, "There's no way."
Well, that's what I was curious about.
That's been happening for a while.
Okay, so if the whole zoo isn't AZA accredited, why does the kitchen have to be?
The kitchen. So we're going through the process of getting our USDA license. Which is, so that is something we need to be able to exhibit exotic mammals like our porcupines that we have but aren't showing anyone yet. And if we want to add things like a sloth or wallabies or anything like that, we need to have a USDA exhibitor's license. And part of that is that we have to have a separate area for storing and preparing animal food that's separate from any like human food.
See, reptiles are better.
Okay. Okay. I think Becca explained some of that, and I just like completely did not understand what was going on.
Yeah, you said that, and I was like, that doesn't seem right, because AZA is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
The farther I am away from being a zookeeper, I'm like, it's probably better not to be AZA certified or if you're accredited if you're a place, because there's more freedom to do stuff, especially in Drew's case, where it's a smaller zoo. He's not working with having to get like rhinos for breeding programs or lions you know.
I would like to work towards being like an affiliate facility for AZA one day, because then we can be part of some of those breeding programs. Like I would love to have radiated tortoises or pancake tortoises out here and be part of that breeding program. And I've looked into that. It would not be impossible for us to get to that level, but like full accreditation is probably not happening anytime soon. Like maybe 10 or 15 years down the line, we could look at it. But yeah, like even just applying is thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah, and in years, like it's not like I applied, then you get it. It's like a year and a half or something. It's crazy. And I remember going through it. Katie was there when we went through it.
I went through it multiple times.
And they nitpick every fucking thing. Like,
so I did accreditation at the zoo twice.
Yeah, like if he had a light fixture in the background and in the ceiling, right? Just a cheap fluorescent light fixture that had one like dead fly in it, that'd be a huge fucking issue with AZA. Like they're super anal about this. So like we had to, you have no idea how well we cleaned our zoo right before accreditation.
Yeah, they're like white glove inspection on every.
You could have eaten off of every fucking surface in a reptile house.
Oh my gosh.
There was no dust.
Because
the
you didn't want to.
Is that like all the inspectors work in AZA zoos, and they're all like that behind the scenes. Like that's the only time that everybody goes through and does that kind of deep cleaning. So I think it's just to keep everyone honest at least once every 5 years.
Well, that, and you don't want to be the keeper at your zoo that caused the train to derail.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to be that. Yeah.
You got to know where every safety manual is, even though no one ever fucking reads those things. No one knows what's in those things. Every keeper gets a binder. No one's ever fucking read that binder.
Hey, I worked hard making sure every single binder was up to date.
No one knows what was in it. We had to quiz ourselves on what our motto was for our zoo, because no one fucking knew the motto beforehand.
I made a Quizlet for our keepers.
You had to know the motto.
They know everything. Yeah. They can ask you anything.
They can stop you at any point while they're walking through your facility.
Any keeper, anybody that works there.
Anybody that works.
Even like the custodians.
Yeah.
The security
custodians and the security guard had to learn all these facts. So like I did because at that point I was in charge of the education department. So I was doing like classes on lunch. Like they would come and eat lunch in my building, and I was like quizzing them on like different procedures with different animals, even though they had nothing to do with this animal. They could have been asked those questions and needed to know all the safety protocols.
Yeah, that's why you want your days off to be when they come.
Yeah.
Like if you're lucky enough to be your days off, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I was not.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's a lot more headache that goes into being AZA accredited. Like it's great because like you can be like put your little star on the window and go, yay, look, we're amazing with your little sticker there. But damn, it's
Yeah,
pain in the
like
ass.
Yeah.
I'm not, ragging on AZA or AZA zoos, but yeah, like from the perspective of running a zoo, becoming AZA accredited is a nightmare that I'm not going to touch for a very long time.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some non-AZA accredited zoos that are that way for a reason too. Like I've known zoos to lose their accreditation because, like, so you get a grace period. Like they come and they see everything, and they'll give you like, this is all the things you got to fix, and you can fix them.
And we'll come back in a year
So to lose it means you really fucked up.
because they give you multiple warnings to go through and like fix stuff.
Yeah. So it's not just like one strike, you're out.
Yeah.
No.
So there are 4 zoos in Louisiana. Only 2 of them are accredited. 3 at one point were. 1 is not. And I've been to that one, and I know why. I went there, and there was a
Cute little zoo.
loose monitor like living underneath one of the old primate cages.
It's a cute little zoo.
Like just a water monitor that guy. And it was living on it. They couldn't catch it. They could see it come out in the sun, and then it would go back underneath the cage.
Okay.
Good
So-
times.
Wow.
Good times.
It's wild.
Being, I do miss being a zookeeper. I miss it, but God, it doesn't pay worth shit.
No,
It
there's
is.
a reason I didn't go that route. I mean,
There's a reason. You have no idea how many people are currently teachers that used to be zookeepers. It's an insane amount of people.
that's depressing because
Because we all got biology degrees and shit, and then we realized, oh, we don't make shit.
well, neither do teachers.
Oh yeah,
No,
we do. Oh yes, we
we
do.
do compared to
Oh
zookeepers.
yes, we do.
Which is
Oh.
but that's the
'Cause
that's the scary
Here's
part.
the scary part. So when we lived in Louisiana, and this is public knowledge, you can Google it because we were state employees. The people that rode around on the back of garbage trucks in our city made
as me.
more
No, same.
or
It
made
was-
the
It was
same
the exact same pay scale as me.
as the person who worked with venomous snakes and crocodiles that could kill him.
I mean, the same. That's when I was like, well, I can't fucking do this forever.
And when we became teachers, we took like a $18,000 a year
Drew
pay
lives
raise.
up in near Conroe, and teachers up there make good money too.
Yeah.
That's surprising because garbage men generally make really good money because
And then
nobody
we
wants
moved
to do it.
here and got an even bigger raise for teachers. So I feel a little bad in Texas because people are like, teachers don't get paid crap. Da, 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 da. Yes, this is true.
I agree, we should make more money.
We should because we do a lot. I mean, just
Combat
the last
pay.
2 days.
Mhm.
However, teachers here make a lot more money than what we were making in Louisiana.
Yeah, I've heard Georgia too is another one.
That's what happens when you have a lottery. Go to like, well, because Louisiana's starting to go up some, but like
Yeah.
Alabama and Mississippi, they don't have lotteries. So it's taking a long time for them to try and get up there because, lotteries are evil.
And depending
That's
on
the
where
devil.
in the state you live and what contributes to the money in that area
Yeah.
also depends on teacher pay.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you're,
Which
Property
I think
tax
I think the zoo
Yeah.
pay is the same way.
if it's a city owned.
Yeah,
Not if it's a private owned.
Yeah, because I've worked in a city-owned zoo, and it was a lot like that. Like, you were on the government pay scale at a certain level, and yeah, but like if it's an independent nonprofit or privately owned or whatever, they can pay whatever they want, which is usually less.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like
like,
a private
it's like
school.
private schools. Everybody's like, private schools are the best. Really? Those teachers get paid less than normal teachers. You think a good teacher is going to go get paid less at a private school?
Hold up,
Bullshit.
I just saw that comment from Max Hicks. PETA and Humane Society
they
are
go to
in
meetings.
AZA meetings as of the past few years and have tables there. Are
So
you
that,
kidding
but
me?
see, but he's not saying is the years of them hanging outside of AZA meetings, throwing blood on people going in and out of them,
Mm.
because they protested them for forever because they fucking hate zoos.
AZA knows that they're the enemy. Like, there's no question there with anyone who works in an AZA zoo. They'll tell you PETA's the devil.
Can't stand PETA.
Or the Humane Society. Everybody thinks the Humane Society of the United States is like
Oh no,
wonderful.
I can't stand them either.
They kill way more animals than they help.
People look at me like I'm crazy when I say that I don't like them, and I'm like, well, here, let me tell you why.
No, that's why you should always support your local animal
That's
shelter.
another podcast.
Go to your local animal shelter. Go walk dogs for them. I remember as a kid when I was in like middle school, I'd go to the pound and like walk dogs on the weekends. You can always
You
volunteer.
can
to do
always
that.
just go to the learning zoo and volunteer and help out with their animals.
That's true. Pick up
Our
tortoise
zoo
poop.
won't let us.
Oh,
We're not
Insurance.
allowed to have any volunteers, which would be great, but yeah.
So much tortoise poop.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
I mean, what we
because I'm
figured
sure you
out
could
is that
find some high school volunteers.
what we discovered is that you can have people pay you to come work for you. 'Cause
Okay.
What we're doing in June is our zookeeper camp, and it's like
Yeah.
a summer day camp.
Nice.
And the those kids' parents are paying us for their kids to come scoop poop and.
So you laugh. I've actually
Genius.
looked at this. And if it wasn't early in the morning and I didn't have an hour drive from our house to their facility every day, I actually thought about signing Joe up for that.
I have tons of shit she can clean up here.
Well, I know, but they're not you, and she'd be.
I've got a room full of ice pots she can take care of on a regular basis.
Much more willing to help them,
But
than
you're
you.
dad and you're not interesting.
Shit still
Like
gotta be
the
cleaned
zoo
up.
is.
Shit, she's cleaning up her dog shit every day because her dog doesn't shit outside.
She does for me. She
It's
does for me.
different because I do not enjoy like cleaning the litter box, but oh, you want me to go volunteer at the horse stables and scoop horse shit?
Well, that
Hell
sounds
yeah.
horrible.
Sign me up.
Horrible.
I get to play with horses.
Ugh.
Let's do it.
They killed Superman.
Okay. Anyway.
Fucking horses. I don't trust horses.
We're done with James.
Oh Lord.
Killed Superman. Anyways, back to the zoo. So how has keeping for you changed since you went from like having reptiles as pets to now you have reptiles as a full-time job in a zoo?
That's an interesting question for me because like I had reptiles like as pets all the way from like elementary school through to high school, and then I got rid of everything when I was moving out to college. And since then, like basically, I don't think I've really had very many animals as pets. Like there was a while where I was kind of getting I'd like some rosy boas, like a carpet python, things like that, but pretty early on, I started building a collection kind of with a mind towards this. So, yeah, I don't really know. Becca, you had pets when we met, and then I kind of ruined
Forced
your
you
life.
into this? Okay.
At first, like he took care of his own pets, I took care of my own, and then when we moved into the zoo together, he took care of all of them.
Beautiful thing, isn't it? Beautiful.
Yep. Now she just brings home things like horses, and I end up taking care of those too.
Fuck that.
Damn, I'm getting the short end of the stick here.
You bring home a fucking horse, we're getting a divorce for you.
Okay, to be fair though, weren't there a few carpet pythons that randomly showed up at your door
whoa,
that she didn't know
whoa.
about?
Okay, first off, a carpet python compared to a horse is not the right. That's
I'm
come
just
on.
saying. I mean,
You could put those in a tub under a bed, and she never would have known.
I would like
You're
to
not
make
hiding
it
a horse in the
clear,
bathroom.
I am
If
on
the kid didn't
nobody's
work that
side
day, she wouldn't have known
here
about 'em.
because
I
I'm in
was
favor of all
supposed to
the
be at work
animals.
that day, but then a weather tornado thing came through and they canceled school that day. So I was home when the delivery was done.
I'm just saying. No, horse gets him out of jail for a while. If she actually brought a horse, that's a.
Okay,
he
but
could
she's
get a whole lot of
but
shit before he
she's-
equals a horse.
But she's small. She's not a full-size horse.
Doesn't fucking matter. It's a horse.
It's
you know
a
what
little
the snakes do?
horse.
The snakes eat once a week.
Her horse is the equivalent of my dog.
It's totally
Yeah.
the same size as your
What
dog.
can I do? You just need to borrow a Great Pyrenees and put a horn on it, and
Yes.
it'll be much
Oh,
easier.
I have
They
made
a fluffy.
I have made jokes about like because both of my dogs, I got them as puppies and I wound up having to pay for their neutering myself. And I joked about just like putting a saddle on them and then charging the neighborhood kids $5 a ride to recoup all of my vet bills.
That sounds like a bad idea.
But I just, for the record, I'm on both of y'all sides. I'm
Oh.
in favor of more carpet pythons and I'm in favor of more little horses that can be
Yeah.
unicorns.
That's so much poop.
Look
I
how
love her
tasty
so
it is.
much.
So much poop. I bet that thing for a small animal shits
Please,
so much.
Please
So
tell me.
Stinking cute.
Please tell me she'll be dressed up for the brunch.
I can do that.
I love you.
And
Thank
it's
you.
horse shit.
I'm so excited.
I'm all in favor.
Speaking of carpet pythons, I did want to say, settling the argument from earlier, Megan, you have better taste in snakes because you have 2 carpet pythons, and last I checked,
Thank
James doesn't have any.
you.
Hey,
I have a great
Hey,
snake
hey,
collection,
hey,
and I have a
hey,
really beautiful
my
one.
carpet python died, so not my fault.
I have
That
a
is
really
great.
beautiful carpet
I do-
python that
I
I
do-
got
I have
from this
one.
dope ass zookeeper.
I have a Brettles that's close enough, and it's even cooler.
Okay,
It is
I'll
pretty.
let that slide.
The
Drew,
Brettles is
Drew,
really
no,
pretty.
no.
Fuck it,
You have spoken.
no, I have rubber boas. I automatically win. Rubber boas are cooler.
Are they out of the cooler yet?
They are out of the cooler
Oh,
now.
nice.
I mean,
They're up to room temperature.
rubber boas look dumb.
They don't look dumb. They're fucking awesome.
They do look dumb.
They're fucking awesome.
They're not cool.
I also have Louisiana pine snakes.
Those are cool.
Okay, I will
I
give you
need to
those
get one of
because
those
I am a
eventually.
huge fan of those snakes, and I want a black
I got
one.
you. I
A
got
black
you.
that's a black pine.
Yes,
Black
when
pines
I,
are much harder to come by.
when I found out that they came in black,
Much
absolutely,
much harder
I
to come
want
by.
one. I
What, are
did
you talking about? What comes? What?
Black pine snakes. They're in
black
Florida.
pine snakes.
Ooh.
Are they Florida?
Have I seen these?
I'm almost
Yeah.
I
positive
think
they're
they're up
Florida.
north.
Are they northern? I thought.
Are
Yeah,
they?
'cause
Let's Google
I work
this.
with Florida pine snakes, and they just look like black and white gopher snakes.
Yeah,
We're
I don't
gonna
know.
Google this.
It's worth the Google. Black pine snake. No, I'm right. They're in Florida.
Huh.
I don't know. Yeah, Florida, Georgia, that area.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought they
Cool.
were southern.
Yeah.
but I need one. They're so pretty.
I think they're protected.
No, when
They're under Endangered Species Act.
Are they?
Yeah, they're
That might
protected.
be why we didn't have them at the zoo.
The
I was
black
at.
bull snake? That's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
No.
Okay,
No.
What I
those are from
need-
Mobile.
Black pines are from the
Is-
south and they're protected.
To upgrade my entire collection before I bring home something else. So
I keep telling you, I know a guy that makes cages.
I know, but those cost money.
They do cost money.
He's not giving them to me for free.
No, they do cost money.
Unfortunately.
Speaking of
Just
carpet
like
pythons,
about breeding more, because then the snakes make the money for you.
yes.
Yes, I might eventually breed my children's pythons. I don't know yet.
Ugh.
A friend of
You know how small those things are when they're hatched?
yes, they're tiny. Because I got Sasha as a
They're so fucking
practically.
small. It's the only reason
No,
I,
she was 6 months old when I got
it's the
her.
only
She
reason I
was
still have a
tiny.
female and no male. Because I realized I don't want to deal with a snake that small and that doesn't always want to take rodents.
Do they lay eggs?
And they're itty bitty. And they like
Yeah.
Richards.
They're tiny.
Yeah, I passed. You
Teeny,
can go play with the
tiny.
bitch in there. She's fun. Speaking of carpet pythons, Max pointed out, and I shared this somewhere. I think I sent it to y'all or whatever. There's a guy in Ukraine because of all the war and they lost power.
Oh God, yeah, I saw
lost his
that.
entire carpet python collection, and they were nice.
Yeah, he had some really gorgeous snakes.
And just had them all laying there.
Super heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Ugh.
there were like eggs in some of them, and yeah, that was awful.
So Will McGrady said that he
Oh,
saw
hey,
some
what's
black
up,
pine
Will?
snakes at Conroe for $500 to $600, but there's got to be some sort of paperwork deal because I'm pretty sure that you have to have something for those.
I am going to make it my mission to research this
But maybe just like the there's some paperwork stuff for
because
my snakes now that they're on the list too.
I need one.
But
Yeah, James, what is the paperwork like for Louisiana pine snakes?
I
'Cause I
think
didn't know there were any in private hands until I saw yours.
that if I remember correctly, I got an email somewhere, but it's for me to sell them out of state.
I was gonna say it's different if we're selling.
So for me to sell them out of state, I have to have a permit, and the person buying it has to have a permit. There's a permit from Wildlife and Fisheries. If I'm selling them in state, this is when I was in Louisiana. If I'm selling them in state, I had to have the permit. The person did not. But I think I can gift them without any permit.
So if I wanted to buy one here in Texas, I need to have a permit.
But I think you have to buy it from someone in Texas.
Okay.
I think.
Like,
well, no. You could buy it from Louisiana, but they'd have to have a permit, and you'd have to permit. Have to
Okay.
permit. Yeah. So, I mean, I know a guy in Louisiana, that's where I got mine, but
So it sounds like it's similar to like if you were buying like an indigo.
yeah, probably.
I
Except it's
think-
going to shit way less.
Well, yeah. But
And how hard is the permit to get?
Well, it's like any other government term. You just got to pay for it and send off for it.
yeah, you just
Alright.
yeah.
I've got it in an ancient email somewhere because they've only been on the list for like 3 years, something like that. Before that, they were just on what's the list before? Endangered, threatened. Yeah, they were threatened.
Okay.
Now they're officially endangered, and you have to have a stupid permit, which kills me because no one's fucking collecting them in the wild.
There really aren't any to collect.
You can't.
The state can't find them, and they're looking for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyways, we'll talk. So I talked to you a little bit, Drew, about this. I am going to open my own small zoo-ish type thing at my school. I got the okay, kind of.
Oh, good.
I got to write up everything for it, but it's
You got tentative approval for some of the stuff you want.
yeah. I'm gonna build it anyways. They're gonna show up next year, and there'll be snakes there.
Everybody knows that maybe means yes.
My coworker will straight up tell you, like my immediate switch teacher, the I teach her class, you teach spine. She's 100%. We'll just ask for forgiveness. Do what we want.
But I talked about it last week. I'm gonna get cages built, and I saw some animals this weekend. I think I know what lizards I want to do. I think I want to do a giant day gecko. because it's out and about. It's easy to see. It's out during the day. It'll be great to show off, and everybody knows Geico, so they'll fucking know what that is. And then
and then you can educate them correctly on the Geico list.
Yeah, when they can go, is that a lizard or a gecko? I fucking hate. Is that a lizard or a gecko? Yes, it is. To both. But an emerald tree skinks.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
love those things.
I've seen several people that have them that
So
they become very
cool.
personable. They'll come out onto your hands and feed, and they'll like. So I want to do like a pair of emerald tree skinks because they're diurnal. They'll be out today, and they're really pretty, along with the day gecko. And then I kind of want to do a jungle carpet because I'm trying to think of something that will fit in a relatively small cage, like 3 foot by 2 foot by 18 inches by 2 foot or whatever. But that will be somewhat arboreal. I can put a branch in there and it'll sit on a branch and it'll look kind of good as a show animal. And I'm not doing a green tree and I'm not doing an emerald in a high school. Like, I'm just not going to do that.
I'm telling you, get a black rat snake.
I'm not getting a fucking black rat snake.
They're amazing.
Fuck that.
And Penelope is delightful.
Okay. So if my options are jungle carpet or black rat snake,
I'm just saying,
fuck
a
am I going to go with a
jungle
black
carpet-
rat snake?
Because the black rat snake is probably
You're going to sit there and
it's
tell me that black
arboreal.
rat snake is better
It's-
than jungle carpet.
No, I'm not going to tell you that it's
Well,
better
then,
than
yeah,
a
I'm not
jungle
going with it.
carpet. But it costs less. That's what I'm just saying.
If I may commit some herp blasphemy, they're the same thing.
Well, I get it. It's Australia's version of a rat snake, but
It doesn't really matter. One of them.
I don't want our stupid version of a rat snake. I've seen plenty of our stupid version of a rat snake, and they try to kill me
I don't know why I keep agreeing to come on this podcast.
because someone needs to help you realize that I'm right.
No. Listen, if I ever had to sell my entire collection for whatever reason and I could only keep one snake, I would keep Penelope.
So Max said I got to tell the janitor not to use certain chemicals. That is true, but Max, they will be locked in a room that the janitors actually can't get anywhere near. It's a room inside of my room, so they'll actually be locked in a cage inside of a room inside of my room, with like it has no drop ceiling, so if anything gets out, it can't actually get out unless you got to put a door sweep on the door, and we're good. It's awesome. And I've also found out recently it's cooler than my actual room, so I may just start hanging out in that small little closet. Smaller room. It's got an
Our air conditioner kicked on this afternoon in like the middle of class, and the kids had been outside because they're doing soccer right now at PE, and they were gross when they came in today. But when that air kicked on, my whole room went silent, and
You want to stay on the mic? There you go.
my whole room went silent, and all my kids were just like, "Ah, the air." It was adorable. It was
So
adorable.
you all have, you said you have a reptile house. What all is in your reptile house?
Well, we've got a lot of our bigger reptiles outside, like rock iguana, tortoises, carpet
You keep your
python.
jungles outside, don't you?
Yeah. I had my male outside through the winter, and I just moved my female out a week or two ago. And but yeah, so we've got all the other stuff in the reptile house, like all of our amphibians, most of the other snakes and lizards, so like leopard gecko, bearded dragon, our blue tongue skinks, hedgehog, short-tailed opossums, retic. What else do we have? What am I forgetting?
The king snake.
Oh, yeah.
Snake.
Yeah, just like some colubrids, corn snake. We've got our
Tortoises.
baby tortoises when they hatch are going to be started inside. What else?
The frogs.
Yeah, frogs, salamander, scorpions.
I'm assuming you're growing your own feeders for everything.
Oh yeah. We've got a room off the garage for bugs and birds and rats, which is nice.
So you're growing quail also?
Trying. Yeah, I took a break from hatching quail because dealing with the babies was a lot of work, and now it's like all of my adults are almost too old to breed, so it's like get one last clutch of eggs out of them and hope that those are fertile and I can get some babies to raise up. But if that doesn't work, I'll just go buy more quail because they're really handy to have around as feeders.
Yeah. I can never grow my own rodents. I can't do it.
I can't do it either.
That almost seems like work. I don't have a collection so that it's work.
Yeah. I mean, if I was like, like you guys, running a zoo or something, then yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't even
it's
think.
probably more economical.
I can tell you right now, as a
But-
zookeeper, we did not grow our own rodents.
No,
We ordered them frozen.
I
It was so much
couldn't do
easier
it.
just to walk into a walk-in freezer and pull everything and then go feed and
Yeah.
not add an extra. Like, well, the zoo I interned at did grow rodents, but they didn't grow enough rodents actually for their entire collection, so they still had to do frozen also.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like we we overproduce because I have like 2 full racks of rats and 1 of mice. So most of the time, like I'm producing way more than we need with like 15 snakes and a couple lizards that eat them. So most of the time I just like sell the surplus or, freeze them and save them for later. But it's nice because I can just go out and if I need something that's halfway between a pinky and a fuzzy, I have it. And if I need like a really, really big rat, usually there's something that I can grab in there for the retic or whatever. So it's nice to have that variety instead of being locked into, I only have rats that are this size to this size.
I definitely see the advantages to growing your own. I couldn't do it.
You've tried to talk our kid into doing it.
I did try and talk her into breeding just mice for me, and then I would pay her for them. She was not having it either. I was like, I'll pay for everything. You just give them to me, and then I'll give you like a little bit here. Nah, she wouldn't have it.
He was even like willing to pay a little bit more than what he would have paid on.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, you weren't?
Not even close. I would have paid way less.
Oh.
Way fucking less.
Never mind.
She wouldn't have realized it.
Oh.
At the time, she was like 9. $1 was like $100 to that kid.
This is true.
They still don't understand money. She's 11. She still doesn't understand money. So
She's getting it a little better at it though. Now that she's starting to realize how much her stuff costs.
Yeah, once you start making them pay for shit, they start to realize money is not just like free.
Bills are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say something. You said that. My brain is we got testing coming up, and my brain is starting to shut down.
See, I've been testing for the last 2 days.
So,
not state testing, but just other.
Are you doing benchmark testing?
Where I'm doing DRA reading testing.
I think that's next week for us.
And by the time the afternoon, for those of you that are listening, they're like, what does this mean? So in the state of Texas, you do DRA testing, and basically you are pulling each kid individually to read to you. And there is a series of questions that you have to ask them when they're done reading, and you have to time, and you have to make a note if they skip a word or if they add a word or if they say the word incorrectly, and you have to log all of this, and it determines their reading level, and they have to be on a certain level by the time they move on to the next grade level. Yes. Well, when it's 74 degrees in your classroom and you've listened to 12 children read to you, I had to stop a kid because I literally nodded off this afternoon. Like I could not keep my eyes open. And I was like, baby, I said, let's just take a break. Let's go on a walk. And I literally took my whole class on a walk around our upstairs because I was falling asleep trying to finish these tests.
I'm so glad they didn't do that when I was in school because
we just use accelerated reader. Everybody takes that computer
like
test.
The worst.
Bam, you're done. We don't have accelerated reader in our district in Texas.
Yeah, that sounds like the worst testing idea I've ever heard of.
They freaking love it. The kids like eat it up.
There's
Like,
no kid that loves testing.
No, I had one that came when she
Quit
came
making shit
to
up.
me. She was reading on a
Were you
first
dreaming
grade
while you
level.
nodded off? Because there ain't no way.
She was reading on a first grade level, and she's all year. She's like, okay, I got to be a 30.
You've told me this one success story over and over again. This is the only kid that enjoys
because
this.
She was so excited.
1 out of 50 does not count as they enjoy it.
She jumped from a 14 to a 30. She was pumped. And it was
anyways,
all me.
Back to zookeeping. So what would you say? I'm gonna make an answer both ways. Best thing about zookeeping, it's not the pay. And the worst thing about zookeeping, and you can't say it's the pay. So what's the best thing?
Like as a profession as a whole? Or...
As a whole.
Okay.
Well, wait. Best thing or his favorite thing and his least favorite thing? Because that's a difference. Are we going with like their favorite part of this and their least favorite part of this?
What he thinks is the best thing about zookeeping.
Okay.
Getting a new animal and saying it's a business expense.
That is pretty slick.
That is pretty sweet. Yeah, I enjoy that.
So I've got an equivalent to that. I think I've told it before. So if you're an AZA zoo, you get to transfer animals between AZA zoos. It's the one benefit that I've found is that you get just transfer shit and not everything. Like the big stuff obviously costs money. You can't just be like, hey, I want a rhino and get a rhino. It's not how that works. But for reptiles, no one gives a fuck about them. So my director used to give me the list of shit that was available. And that's how I ended up getting to take care of Madagascan green tree boas and blackhead python that never went on fucking exhibit because I had nowhere for them. But he was like, hey, what do you want to get? I want these.
That is so pretty cool. Great. Yeah.
And then I'd go off exhibit and play with the blackhead python and play with the Madagascan tree boas because I couldn't buy them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's kind of the same.
A little jealous about that, actually.
I'd say that's actually probably one of the better things about it, because I got to work with tree kangaroos, Galapagos tortoises, oh god, gibbons. Things that I'm like, you're never gonna be able to work with those or keep them as a private keeper, no matter how much research you do. I'm not going to be able to go buy a tree kangaroo from somebody. But they're really
I know
cool.
John Grant may end up with one. I don't. Every time I turn around, they have a whole another fucking mammal over there at Grant Family Exotics.
Oh yeah, no, but yeah, I'd say that getting to be around that variety of animals is really cool, and getting to work with people who know those animals so well. Like, where else in the world are you going to meet somebody who knows what rhinos like and what they don't like?
Yeah.
It's just a very interesting culture of people.
I do miss working with crocodilians. It's one of the things I miss the most. I can get venomous snake. I mean, I'm not living in this fucking county. I'd have to move, but I can get any of the venomous snakes I worked with. But I can't get easily. I cannot get a Chinese alligator, which I fucking want.
Oh yeah, same.
I want a Chinese alligator. I can't do it.
Has Robert gotten you out to Crocodile Encounter yet?
No, I have not gone down there yet. I need to.
Freaking love Crocodile Encounter. Oh my god!
Go make friends with Chris Dieter. Just, if nothing else, you need to be friends with him, because he's a cool guy to know. And I was talking to him the other day about kangaroos and how much space they need. And he's one of those people who knows exactly what Chinese alligators like, what kangaroos like, what it takes to keep a herd of bongo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Crocodile Encounter is my favorite place in Brazoria County.
I'm all for anywhere that has Chinese alligators.
Not hard to do because it's Brazoria County.
Yeah,
but
I think it's the only place in Brazoria County I've been to.
But yeah, no, Crocodile Encounter is freaking awesome.
I do miss working with giant tortoises. We had an Aldabra that I loved. He was about 500 pounds.
Oh, they've got the giant tortoises.
Several. Because look, I've got sulcatas. But anybody that owns a sulcata that's full grown knows they really fucking suck. They do. We can feed them and they'll come to you. One. But the moment they want to run through your ankles just because they're being a dick, that's not fun when they weigh 100 pounds. And they'll do it. They'll just, for no fucking reason, you just be standing there and then 100 pounds decides it wants to go through your shins.
Out of curiosity, and I say this because I'm not sure which group it was in. Was there a video posted on the Reptile Gumbo podcast discussion group about the tortoise in the garden,
tagging the feet,
charging from across the garden?
It was like a little
bitty tortoise,
Greek tortoise or something.
Yeah. Was that in that one, or was that in another one?
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing that.
I don't think it was in there, but Robert showed it to me. It was a little dick tortoise that just kept attacking. Came across this little garden.
Came across the garden.
You freeze?
Yes, so.
Okay. Okay. They'll reconnect in a second. All right. So I guess I'm still I am the show. Hi everybody. James is gonna reconnect in a minute. I don't know if
I'm back.
All right. Awesome.
Sure
the show all of a sudden.
Our internet sucks. We pay too much for it to suck, but it sucks.
I'm gonna find this video.
So
it's
going back to tortoises, but working with big tortoises, anybody that's worked with big tortoises, the attitude of an Aldabra or a Galapagos, especially I find Aldabras to be more personable, but it's definitely different than a sulcata.
Oh yeah, because they're not scared of anything. Sulcatas will either try to fight you or run away from you, but Galops are just oh okay, yeah, you're here. Scratch my neck.
Our big 500 Aldabra, you come up to him, he'd stretch his neck all the way out his legs, and he'd let you scratch his neck and rub him, and
That sounds
loved every
amazing.
bit of it.
He was so.
My tortoises, you go to touch them, all you hear is them huffing at you and sucking their head back in their shell
See,
and ramming at you.
I was taking care of my sister-in-law's adult redfoot tortoise for almost 2 years. He went home to Oregon. I was very sad about it. And I mean, he used to be like that, and then we connected, and yeah, I mean, he'd let you scratch his head, and he'd follow me around the yard, and I could call him, and he'd come out of his house like a dog. Like, I know he was hoping I had carrots, but no, he was great. I need a small army of them now.
Yeah, we have a small army. We have like 7 redfoots and 9 sulcatas now.
And how many eggs do you guys have?
I think we've got like 20 or 25 redfoot eggs in the incubator.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, because 2 of our females just started laying like from Thanksgiving on, like every 6 weeks we would get 4 to 6 eggs from each of them. So I'm hoping some hatch now because I'm almost out of room in the incubator. And if I get more, I'm probably going to have to feed them to something.
See, I wouldn't mind breeding redfoots. I don't want to breed sulcatas at all.
No, they're overbred as it is.
Although right now all I have is males because my one female they kind of beat, and it's been a while and she hasn't gotten much better. She's still kind of little. She eats. She's at a friend's house. She's watching. Says she eats, but she doesn't walk normal anymore. Like she kind of is shaky, like something neurological is going on. So that's what happens when you have dick sulcatas who are fine for years with each other. And then one day he's like, I'm just going to go ahead and ram you for no reason.
Sounds wonderful.
I shared the video on the reptile discussion
of the little tortoise attacking the person's foot.
It was Maryland, the Terrapins.
Okay.
University of Maryland. Is it University of Maryland?
The University of Maryland.
That's who shared the original video.
The University of Maryland did? I guess because they said fear the turtle.
Yeah.
Even though it was a tortoise and not a terrapin.
But I just posted it. And the sucker is booking it across the yard.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Because tortoises are dicks.
So I have a question for you guys. I'm sure Becca's probably seen this question. We get it all the time in the herpers group.
No, you don't need a green iguana. Don't get the green iguana. You don't want them.
Damn.
It's not fun. They won't love you.
Also,
they won't.
Also,
I had a whole year to reinforce that decision. I don't have her anymore. She went to a new foster home. But people post all the time in the group about, they want to know how to get into working with animals. Everybody wants to be like the next Steve Irwin.
Don't.
And so they're always asking questions about, how to get into reptile education and making a business out of it. And I think that a lot of people, myself included, especially as a kid, tend to romanticize working with animals. So can you talk about, there's obviously pros and cons to running a zoo, but can you talk about some of the obstacles that you've encountered that maybe you weren't expecting? I mean, I know that you previously worked in zoos to gain your experience, but actually starting your own business is an entirely different ballgame. So, I mean, what are some of the obstacles that you guys have had to encounter that maybe you didn't really think about this before you decided to open up a private zoo?
Something really interesting. Drew and I were just talking about this. We always grew up around animals. I always had hooved animals growing up. And then he's always had reptiles. And ever since I got Elsa, my pony, I've been doing photo shoots, birthday parties, whatever I can do to make money with her. And with photo shoots, like the moms always picture like a whimsical photo shoot of their daughter in a pretty dress and barefoot. And even though I put on my website so many times, you need to be wearing closed-toe, closed-heel shoes and not just flip-flops. Like the moms will still bring their child out and expect their child to be like leading Elsa on the rope or like standing next to her with no shoes on.
Just let that horse step on their feet and see how it goes.
It's not until
in the woods too. Like they're just in the woods with God knows what.
It's not until I say, no, ma'am, like she needs to be wearing shoes. She's standing next to like a 300-pound hooved animal who could accidentally step on her foot. And then it's like a light goes off in the mom's head, like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, see, that stems from everybody's thought that if an animal is in a zoo, that it's a fucking puppy dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people all the time at the zoo, they see a tiger and they're like, so y'all just go in there with them? No, it's a fucking tiger.
They do that at Australia Zoo, which is weird.
It's a fucking tiger. Fuck
when
that.
I visited, it was the weirdest thing I saw there. Is just two guys hanging out with the tiger.
No, I'll pass.
Yeah.
I was at Houston. We watched them train cheetahs. They were in there with the cheetah, and I was like,
oh yeah.
No. But that cheetah, she said they bottle raised that.
Well,
that particular one.
I get that, but at some point, it's going to realize that it's a wild animal.
Well,
Oh, but there's not. I don't believe I've ever heard of a wild cheetah attacking
No,
humans.
it's not a lion or a tiger or a bear.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Like cheetahs don't attack anything bigger than them. They're terrified of them.
But
Right.
yeah, just dealing with like people who are not animal people and people who just don't know any better. It's really hard to just keep your composure, keep being friendly and kind,
Mhm.
and just thinking about what I'm about to say to this adult or child before I say it, because they really might not know something that I've known for ages. They may have never heard of before. But it
you
gets
can't
really
pop
old.
up and you can't pop off and ask somebody what the fuck is wrong with them.
Yes.
Try being a reptile keeper and being asked how the animals taste. I got so many recipes for how to eat alligator and alligator snapping turtle
welcome to Louisiana.
all the time. They would tell me how they'd eat my alligator snapping turtles, and I could never go, fuck you. You weren't allowed to do that. She had to smile and go, nah, that's not cool, and let it go, even though I'll be like, you're a fucking idiot.
I
Yeah.
mean, I get some of that just doing what I do for
Yeah, I bet.
on the side. Like I get some. There's a lot of people on Facebook that have been blocked.
Isn't it so funny when you take out your snake and you do a whole shindig about how great the snake is, what it does for the environment, and how much you love your snake, and then someone's grandpa in the back goes, "Oh, I killed a snake once." And
That'd
it's
make
like,
a great pair of boots.
Mhm.
Yeah.
you just like defeated everything that I just spent 15 minutes talking about. Thank
Yep.
you for that.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I
funny
had
though,
somebody. I had
Oh.
somebody in our neighborhood. She's really sweet lady, absolutely terrified of snakes. So regardless of how big the snake is, I go over to her house and I will move it somewhere where she can't see me near her house so that she just feels better that it's not there. And the last one that I moved was a Decay's brown snake. And there's
That's a ground rattler, by the way,
yes, a ground rattler.
and they're deadly when
And-
they're babies because they have tons of venom.
They think they're deadly. And there's this one particular guy that lives in my neighborhood. And she had posted the picture on our neighborhood page and was just like,
once get Facebook into it, it's always
well, she was like, thank you for, always coming and moving my snakes. And this guy, and it sucks because I really adore his wife. Like his wife is so sweet, but I can't stand him. And he's like, this is why I sharpen my shovel before doing yard work. And I'm thinking, dude, this thing is like, does it make you feel like more like, ooh, macho?
Who
Like
sharpens their shovel?
because you're like talking about killing something that is like literally as big as a pencil. Like, do you feel better now?
Well, that was like the post the other day. Remember the post the other day? The woman talked about she came upon a snake eating a dove, and she saw the snake eating a dove, and she wanted to rescue the dove, but she didn't because she didn't know how to handle snakes.
Kid.
And then her honest question afterwards: what would I have done if that snake would have been trying to eat a kid? What fucking snake went from eating a dove to eating a kid? That leap is
That was-
ridiculous.
it took everything I had not to like come back with some sarcastic remark because I'm just like,
This was legit.
what?
Yeah.
I'm like, is
She
this
honestly wanted to know how she would handle that snake if it was trying to eat a kid versus eating the dove that it was eating.
like, are we being pranked? Where's Ashton Kutcher?
Well, someone in our neighborhood group this morning posted
I knew you were gonna bring this up.
they hooked the alligator that lives in our pond,
Uh-huh.
and they got it close to shore. It's small. It's probably, I mean, just from the one that I saw the tail, it's a picture I've seen before. It's probably like 4 foot. It's small.
Right.
And of course, we need to catch that and get rid of it before it gets big. I was like, or you just leave it alone.
Oh yeah,
and
we deal with
watch
that
when you're
in
next to the edge of the
Verdiana,
water.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like everybody, well, the first time they posted a picture of it a few months ago, someone was like, they need to get out there and kill it and catch it. And I'm like, A fucking alligator didn't do shit to you. Leave it alone.
Yeah, just don't feed it, and it's literally not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Don't feed. And then because you always get, well, our kids play by the water. Well, then teach your kids there's an alligator in the water.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean.
I mean, they play next to the street too.
Yeah.
Are you
Sure, they
gonna go
play
out
in
there-
the fucking street.
God, in this neighborhood, they're in the street. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? Jeez.
Yeah, I get that a lot. What about the children? What about the children? What have the children ever done for me?
Sound like Betty White. I'm rooting for the crocodile.
We need to watch
they-
that movie again now.
I love Betty White in that movie. For anybody that's never seen Lake Placid, one, what's wrong with you? And two, Betty White, that's the best line she's ever said. Well, I'm rooting for the crocodile. Please tell me you've seen Lake Placid.
No.
The fuck is wrong with
I'm
you?
finding it, and we're having a
Wow.
movie night. It is
Okay.
so
First off, it's got-
fabulous.
So I came here to get ganged up on.
Yes,
All
it's got
right.
Betty White. You have to watch anything with Betty White in it.
I love Betty White.
And it's giant saltwater
The
crocodiles in
world
like
did
Maine.
not deserve Betty White.
from 1999, the movie.
Can't believe
Okay, so I'm gonna like
they made a second one. I think they made a third one.
I don't know.
swivel from being attacked.
Back to your question.
Back
about,
to my
um,
question because I know you have more to add.
We can watch it on Hulu.
Yeah, remind me what the question was, because I think I've
Oh,
lost track.
Favorite thing,
just
least
about
favorite thing.
The obstacles that you guys like basically
Oh, right.
what are some things that you've encountered that you just didn't really think about actually
Obstacles.
opening your own business? Because I know that it has to be a completely different ballgame from just working in a zoo
And you don't get to pick
versus
COVID.
actually running a zoo.
COVID doesn't get to be your hurdle. You can't pick that one.
No, that was
'Cause you
actually helpful because
opened
it gives us
and,
time to
like-
get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I would say that it's the business side of it, because like this is something that I've seen a lot. Is somebody has that passion for something and they're really good at it, they're knowledgeable about it, and they suck at running a business, and so they try to do it as a job and it fails miserably. But like the handling insurance and paperwork and booking things and
That's one thing
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, Megan. And I know a lot of people will post in your group saying oh, I want to start my own birthday party
Mhm.
business. I want to start outreach, whatever. And it's like, the first thing you need to do is find someone who's going to insure you.
Mhm.
I don't care how friendly your snake is. I don't care how knowledgeable you are. Accidents happen and children are clumsy. Children don't know what they're doing.
And it doesn't help that a kid will have a snake tongue flick their hand and then scream at the top of their lungs, "It bit me!"
Even though it did not.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, insurance.
and if you can't afford the insurance, then
Yeah, like when I was doing this, just like going offsite and going to people's birthday parties and things, like I had the animals in like a spare bedroom, and insurance to cover that was $300 a year. So you can afford it. There's no excuse not to have it.
Mhm.
I think Robert has said before around here, you'd have like $1 million plan to be able to go into any school
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
to be allowed in. Oh, I think about that when I was a kid. I don't know how many of y'all had the reptile guy come to their school as a kid.
I
I'm
never
almost fucking
did.
positive that guy had no insurance on jack shit. And we're all up there holding a 15-foot Burmese python. He's bringing out an alligator and an alligator snap. No insurance. But different times. You
Mhm.
never had that happen at your school?
Also depends
No,
on the
but-
school.
I mean, it may have happened, but I also moved around every year as a kid. So I didn't necessarily start the grade and end it in the same spot. So
you missed the reptile guy.
yeah,
Either-
he might have come at some point.
Either one of y'all have that happen at your school? Did y'all have the reptile guy come to your school?
Who
Um,
is the reptile
well,
guy
he is
now?
now.
I mean, now, yeah, I was homeschooled, so I was the
Oh.
reptile guy at my school too.
That explains why you're weird.
But no,
guy.
I
Okay.
Whatever.
I had a snake birthday party when I turned 10.
Nice.
With Clint the Snake Man, who's still around, and now I do the same thing, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, Becca, did you ever have? You went to a small Christian private school, so I have a feeling
So
they
snakes
thought
are the
snakes
devil.
were literally the devil.
yeah, they wouldn't have let those come in.
You
Yeah,
can't bring
or
the devil
snake
in.
people too. Those would not have been allowed within 1,000 yards.
My birthday's in December too, so it's kind of a cold time for reptiles to come to my birthday party. I always wanted a pool party as a kid.
I
It
remember-
wasn't happening.
Remember 5th grade, reptile guy came to our school.
Well, good for
I know.
you, 5th grade James.
I'm interested if any of our listeners out there actually had had anything. Did you ever have come to your school?
Not that I remember.
I have been the reptile guy at schools.
Was they both of us have?
Yeah, I was the reptile guy this morning, actually. I was at a school most of today, and I'm going back tomorrow. But yeah, it's funny because these kids, like, some of them are super into it, and some of them, like, none of them are bored, but some of them are, like, on the verge of getting up and running out of the room when they see certain things.
Oh, yeah. There's always that same sound when you bring out a snake. You hear the breathe in, and then you hear the screaming as
a million voices crying out in terror. And
as they try to get close to the door.
Yeah.
As you're like 20 feet away from them, and there's no way you could get near them.
Yep.
Yeah. I once had a kid at a birthday party run out of the room screaming because I brought out a tortoise. Like a juvenile sulcata as the first animal in the lineup, and this kid takes off running, runs up the stairs, slams his bedroom door, and doesn't come out the rest of the time I'm there.
Hey, I've seen those things poop. It's scary.
I don't think that I could do kids parties.
It's not that bad.
Oh, hey,
It's hard.
It's okay.
There's Robert,
Oh, yeah, there's Robert.
Facebook user.
He
Get
doesn't-
well soon. Keep your cooties at home.
Yeah, don't bring him over here.
It's hard because you'll be holding something and like an animal, and you'll be like, okay, the 2-finger touch one at a time, and they will just mob you and like try to take the animal out of your hands.
Oh yeah.
And you have to be really good about the way you're holding the animal, like being able to take it back really quickly.
Yeah, I always make sure that the head is pointed towards me. I always have like the least vulnerable part of the animal towards the kids. So like if they grab the tail or they knock on the shell or whatever, it's probably going to be okay. And like that's another thing is a lot of people that do like education, they'll just hand the snakes off to people, and
Crazy.
I don't know how they do that. Like that gives me immediate anxiety.
Because the first minute the turtle or tortoise like goes in its shell and pokes its head back out, the kid's gonna go and drop it 4 feet down, and
Yes.
then
Yeah.
Mhm.
So a couple of things I want to add to that one. One, it definitely takes a certain kind of person to be able to do programs.
Oh yeah, you
Um,
have to be good on stage.
You will be amazed. So I'm one of those people that take a lot of things for granted. Like I'm good at certain things, but I have a hard time understanding how other people aren't good at the same things that I'm good at, because we're both humans, and like I don't get how you're not good at that.
Can I just say, and I'm going to get sappy on everybody for a minute. One of my favorite thing in 17 years of being with him, one of my absolute favorite things is to watch him give a program. Like I still just get so excited watching him give a program. And it doesn't matter if it is a room full of kindergartners, because we've done that before, or if it's a room full of high school kids and it's a totally different personality. But if you ever get a chance to see James do a program, it is not the same James that we are all used to.
Well, no, you have to. It's a
It's
show.
Fantastic. It is absolutely
Oh
one of
my
my
God.
favorite things.
How
in
do
the
you
world.
see this?
There's
'Cause
so-
I'm used to
so
being picked
great.
on.
Well, the problem is the general public doesn't know how to. So we know reptile people. The bulk of reptile people are fucking weird. They just are.
The bulk
And-
of animal people
and
are
like-
fucking
Don't get me
weird.
wrong. We're fucking weird. But the important thing is being able to know how to stop being fucking weird during a presentation,
Yeah.
so that you can do the presentation.
And
Yeah.
to be polite
Yeah.
Mhm.
and to be
Obviously, I'm not going to talk
patient.
this. I'm not going to talk this way in a presentation.
No.
But right now, I'm on my fucking podcast, so I do whatever I want. But when you're in front of kids, like I've seen so many people, they don't know how to switch down to like a first grade level and talk to a first grade group.
Mhm.
They'll talk to them like they're talking to adults. And I'm like, well, you've already screwed this up because that's not going to work.
Yeah, well, you don't throw out Latin names in front of kindergartners.
Yeah.
That's just,
Mhm.
you might as well be speaking Swedish.
Or Latin.
Honestly, I don't even throw them out in front of adults. I
No.
mean, for me, like I'm a really good writer. So I write better than I speak a lot of the times, mostly because like when I start speaking,
Words are hard.
and I'm getting better at it because, you know, practice makes perfect. But for me, like I'm also ADHD, so I have these thoughts in my head and then I start going and then suddenly the thought is out of my brain and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I feel like I'm just rambling now.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely getting better about it, especially, you know, as I
Are you?
fine tune the things that I talk about. Fuck off, James. But the way that at least I approach it anyway, because a lot of the people that I talk to, they know just as much about reptiles as the little kids that I've taught.
Mhm.
So I basically try to keep things, I don't want to say I dumb it down, but I try to keep things as simple and in bite-sized pieces of information as possible. Because while I'm absolutely fascinated in, the 16 different subspecies of Uromastyx, they don't give a shit about the 16
No, it's a
different
spiky-tailed lizard
subspecies.
that wedges itself in rocks.
Well, Megan, there's only 3 kinds of lizard in the world. There's Komodo dragons, there's iguanas, and there's lizards.
Well,
that makes sense
Or-
because
or-
there's
or-
only
or-
there's
or-
only
or-
three
or-
there's only 3 different types of snakes too.
there's cottonmouths if it's in water.
Yeah, copperheads.
There's
If
no. It's I've always found cottonmouths, ground rattlers, or chicken snakes.
I was gonna say chicken snakes.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's
4 because
if it's
I get a lot
bigger
of
than, like,
I get a lot of
60
copperheads.
anaconda.
And then we have the 6-foot water snakes now.
Fucking 6 foot
So
snake. I wish.
we've got those. It was not a 6-foot water snake.
So this weekend at the show. All right, so this ties into it. This weekend at the show. There's a couple things that drive me nuts. Again, so many people around reptiles don't understand. They don't understand situations in general, any situation around them, and they don't fully understand the fucking animals they're taking care of, which drives me nuts. So there was a kid at the show walking around with a 11, 12, 13-foot pied retic.
I did not see this at
And
all.
she was walking around with it at one point, just down the aisle. At one point in the aisle where I am, and straight across from me were guinea pigs and pigs.
I've seen this happen with a chicken in a backpack, and somebody's standing next to like a Burmese python.
I'm like, you're walking around with an animal who, yes, 95% of the time is fine. But snakes don't have the ability to shut off the feed part of their brain once it's on.
Mm-mm.
Just try feeding a fucking pine snake. My pine snakes are amazing. But the moment I open it with a rat, that is not the same snake I opened before.
No.
Yeah,
And if urophilia, it might not matter.
And so, like I said, she's doing this. There was a guy walking around with a green tree around his neck. And look, that's fine. I don't care how calm you think your green tree is. It's fine. But he had it around his neck. The head was back behind him, bouncing around as he's walking down the aisle. Takes 2 seconds just to tag someone in the face as he goes by.
Yeah.
I don't care how calm you think it is. Then the table across from, catty corner from me, they had about a 6-foot boa. They also sold guinea pigs and mice. And they're sitting behind there holding the boa. And the person next to them, also because they had like 7 fucking people behind an 8-foot table, reached in and took out a mouse to hand to the person in front of them to hold. I'm like, there's a boa next to you. That fucking thing, you're holding food. Like, understand your fucking animals. That snakes, just because you think it's a puppy dog.
I missed all this while I was up front working the register.
It was all week. Well, look, okay.
I missed all of it.
So Brittany Patchett was in here earlier. Brittany Patchett's bird got the shit scared out of it this weekend because she has her little parrot. Because somebody came by they came by to show off a snake to the spider person, but whatever. And they were holding an emerald tree boa.
Oh no.
The bird knew it was a snake, and the bird flew over to Kevin and landed on Kevin one table down. And Kevin, without thinking, was like, oh, he brought it back to where it came from.
Oh no.
Put the bird back on the cage, and the bird said, fuck it, and took off.
That's why it ended up in the rafters.
And then it sat up in the rafters for about 45 minutes to an hour. And it wouldn't come down until finally, if it came down, and then it finally came down. But yeah, that's like, people need to stop walking around shows with snakes.
Yeah, like stop bringing your animals from home to shows in the first place.
Yeah.
And if you buy something,
keep it in its cup until you get it home.
All the examples I just explained to you were vendors. Every example I explained to you were vendors or vendors' kids.
Who should absolutely know better.
If you want to bring a snake to show off at a show, that's fine. Do it from behind the table.
Mm-hmm.
Do not walk around the show, and don't preach this whole, oh no, he's super calm. Everything's fucking super calm until the 1 second it's not, and then it
not.
hits
Those
somebody.
are the same kind of people that let their dogs run off lead, and when it runs up to a stranger, they go, "Oh, don't worry, it's friendly." No, that's not okay.
I'm not. I'll kick your dog in the face.
Right?
Right. You don't have to worry about the dog being friendly. You got to worry about the person that it just went up to being friendly.
Most people think that they understand animal behavior more than they actually understand animal behavior.
Because they think they understand human behavior and they want it to be the same thing.
Yes. People, for the most part, the majority of people, they don't know shit about animal behavior. And that's what I teach in when I do, classes, I talk about identification, but I mostly talk about behavior, because the behavior is what people don't understand, and that's what they fear.
Right. Like I was doing this just this morning. Like, I'm standing there with a carpet python and I'm talking about, when you see a snake outside, if you're as far away from that snake as you are from me right now, you might as well be 10 miles away. They're not coming after you. Mm-hmm. You're only in danger if you get closer and you start bothering them.
Right.
And that concept is something I wish I could just drill into their minds without having to spend all this time talking about it, because I could spend 5 minutes talking about it. Half of them probably still wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
Well, and don't get me wrong. Those people walking around the show this weekend, like I said, we're vendors. I understand where they're coming from. In their mind, if they go out in public with these animals and show them to people will like them more. I get that thought process. But what they're not weighing are the negatives.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much shit that can go wrong. Like the person that wants to take their boa to PetSmart and walk around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I get that they're going to tell you, well, I want to show it off to people so they'll like them. I get that. But what you're not realizing is that the person that walked into PetSmart, because don't get me wrong, I've done this when I was younger. I don't do it anymore, because the person that walked into PetSmart to buy a leash for their dog did not walk in expecting to see a 6-foot boa around your neck.
No.
And so now you have not helped that person. You've not scared that person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're standing there holding your snake, talking to somebody, and a kid walks up behind and pokes it on the nose because you're not paying attention to the head, and that kid gets bit. And now any positive you thought you were going to do that day is completely gone, and the amount of negative far outweighs any positive you were ever going to do that day. If one of those kids had gotten tagged by that retic at this show, no one would have known anything about the show other than kid attacked at show by large python.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whenever I'm talking to people about my snakes, I always tell them, I trust my snakes. The ones that I use for education, am I worried about them? No, I'm not. But at the end of the day, they're still wild animals. Just because I've never been bitten by a particular snake doesn't mean that I'm never going to be bitten by that particular snake. Sometimes shit just happens. They're wild animals. These are not domesticated dogs and cats.
I mean, hell, even your domesticated animals have a bad day or an off day.
Yeah.
And if you,
get bitten by dogs all the time.
Yeah, we've never had an issue with our dogs ever, but we also don't let our kid go up to
Ever?
Well,
we had to put a dog down.
That was completely neurological. That was
I get
not,
it.
Yeah.
But that happens. But
for example, Millie, people are gonna see Millie and they're gonna freak out
because she's a pit bull.
Millie is perfect.
Millie's a hot
and can
mess.
do no wrong.
I don't know, you could say perfect.
Millie is perfect.
Millie's a hot mess. But we also don't let our child walk up to her while Millie is eating and put her hand in her food bowl. We don't even let the other dog in the house get close to her while she's eating, even though the smaller one is much more vicious than the bigger one.
And with that said, I have trained Millie not to bite, but that does not mean she wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrestle with her all the time, and she does not have a friendly growl. She only has one growl, and it sounds like she's going to kill you.
If you are familiar with bully breeds, all versions of them, they're all the same.
They have one setting.
She can't help
when it's time to play.
It sounds vicious, but she's not. But so much so that when we wrestle, if one tooth scratches my hand, she freezes and hits the ground.
And she just stays there.
And
she knows something's off. But with that being said, I have told our child multiple times, you are not allowed to wrestle with her the way Daddy does, because Daddy has 250 pounds on Millie. You have 20. It's just not the same.
I mean, overall, the people that you've had visit the zoo, I mean, overall, do people let me try that again.
They're
are they
your rules, right?
of the rules? And
I'd say 90% of the time, yeah. The 10% tends to stick. That's usually during birthday parties, because when they come out on tours, I'm with them, or one of us is with them the whole time, keeping an eye on them, enforcing the rules. With birthday parties, you have 20 kids here for an hour and a half, and they'll be occupied for most of that time, but the longer they're here, the more creatively destructive they get. We have to tell kids, you can't pick up the tortoises and spin them around and throw them at each other.
Oh my God.
I have found
I'm sorry,
that
what?
Yeah, like no, they treat these animals like they're toys. They come in here and act like they own the place. Like they run, they like will balance on top of like different enclosures and like
Oh yeah, they're like walking along the top of the wall for the sulcata yard, and then they have the audacity to fall and get upset.
yeah,
See, that's not the worst part. The worst part is the parent that's standing there watching it,
recording it on Snapchat,
and they think it's okay.
Or like when people feed our big sulcata, we tell them put the food on the ground because he will grab your fingers and he will break skin and it will hurt.
So
and I'll have to go get you a Band-Aid.
So let's talk about that funny story for just a second. Go ahead, James.
So my daughter's a Girl Scout. Is a Girl Scout. But anyways, her troop at our old house came over and they were doing some badge.
It was a pet's badge.
And so we let them feed the tortoises. And so we had carrots and we had big pieces of romaine lettuce so they could hold it. And we said, look, when he gets about halfway down, just let go. And he'll take it. This one girl got infatuated with our 80-pound sulcata.
Her mama was hollering at her.
She's just watching. And we're like, let go. Right on her finger. And he let go of her finger. He didn't hold on. But it broke the skin. She didn't cry. Tough ass little girl. She didn't cry. And the mom was like, well, it's her own fault. We told her like
her mom was freaking hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, because her dad's a fucking lawyer. So like it could have ended horrible. But
so that's when people say that like a carrot snapping is like a finger. No, it's not. He can definitely bite through a carrot. He did not bite through this kid's finger.
Not to bite through her finger. Like it was very much a like you could almost see a look in his eye like this is.
He let go and pulled back quick. He realized that's not lettuce.
This is not food. Like yeah, of course she was
had
like
keep biting my finger like a few times because she thought it was food. But yeah, our big sulcatas never tried to hang on.
Our sulcatas would always come. I don't wear closed-toed shoes. I don't actually.
And if you have red toenail polish on,
I don't actually. I own one pair of closed-toed shoes. I will be wearing them for our brunch.
Say, do not. I will remind you of
them
that.
to change into
those tortoises will come running from across the yard to eat.
They follow me around the yard.
They're like, oh, look at the cherry tomatoes.
Yeah. Because my toenails are always painted some shade of pink or red.
Darren would, of course, I mean, he's a redfoot tortoise. I'm not exactly worried about him, but he would like try to eat my flip flops. Yeah. And I would have to, I'm like, dude, are you blind?
Yeah.
Like, I don't look like food.
Yeah. The tortoises they're not follow me around.
No, but I have found when it comes to people at zoos, they treat, especially parents, treat a zoo like a big babysitter, like it's a big jungle gym.
Yeah.
Once
they
they're inside,
your children just run rampant. Yeah.
And you should be okay with it. You should be okay with them letting their kid do whatever they want.
Well, like, Drew has been scolded by a mom before. Drew was telling her kid, yes, he was like 5 years old, and Drew kept saying,
Drew was 5 years old.
Pick up the turtle, please. Do not pick up the turtle. And the kid kept picking up the turtle. And Drew said very sternly, do not pick it up. And this is why. And he like listed the reasons why. And the mom looked at Drew and goes, what did she say? She's like, I think he understands.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And block the memory.
That's when he'd be like, well, I hope he does.
He doesn't because he keeps doing it.
Yeah, the parents like don't care. They condone the behavior. And then they act upset when you're standing up for your animal.
And I'll be honest.
Like 1 out of 20. But
but it sticks with you. That one sticks with you more than the other 19 that were great.
So
at the end of the day, I don't tell Becca all about, all these awesome parents who were great with their kids. I tell her about the one family that I wish I never had to see again.
Yeah, so this is where I feel old as a parent because I feel like there is a definite age gap between the parents style? Between the parents with specific parenting styles. Whereas I would be mortified if my child ever even thought about behaving certain ways in public. And she would tell you straight up, I'd be picking my teeth up off the ground if I ever talked to grownups a certain way. And,
I was afraid of my mother more than anyone else as a child.
And I'm 36 years old. Like my mom will still smack me if I talk to her wrong. Like,
well, in general,
I just feel old.
People have a lack of respect for other people's possessions, and people feel like when they pay to come into a place, they don't understand. They don't understand that those are other people's things.
Oh yeah, no, I'm honestly, it's amazing the sense of entitlement that people have.
I feel like it's gotten worse
Oh,
It has.
absolutely.
in the last like 3 years, though.
Mhm.
It has.
Oh, absolutely. I deal with it at work. Except if I ever like get fired one day, it will be because I finally told somebody to fuck off.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. I can feel it one day. It's gonna happen.
It's
I love
It's-
working with people. They're the
Opening the
best.
zoo is great, and I can't.
That's so going back to one of the things I think that most people don't think about, like if they're like, hey, I want to open a zoo, is I'm sure Drew knows exactly what it costs to feed his zoo.
You
Yeah.
want to know what the most expensive animal to feed here is, which is
True.
really crazy. Yes, the second most expensive.
Do you have a dog?
No.
Kind of.
Oh.
They're
Not
kind of
yet.
like dogs.
What is it?
Pigs?
The porcupines. They are so expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Like $6 a week to feed them.
Yeah, because each one of them eats about a pound, or between the two of them, they eat about 1.5 pounds of vegetables every day.
Oh my
Plus,
gosh.
like the Missouri rodent block that's
Yeah.
$30 a bag, plus greens and fruit, and they're little pigs. They eat and eat and eat.
Is that not one of the worst smelling shit and piss combos of any animal you've ever smelled?
Otters are much worse.
Otters are bad because they eat fish, but I remember I'd have to go check on my tortoises, and they were right next to the African porcupines. And every morning I'm like, God, that smells horrible.
Mhm.
I was like, it sits there and it's just big soft mush of it's horrible.
Ours aren't too bad, but our male porcupine decided he wanted to excavate, and so he
Oh.
dug a burrow underneath their very nice house that they have. He dug a burrow big enough that I could probably crawl into it.
Nice.
I filled it in one day and put all the dirt back in and made it really nice and fixed up his house so he wouldn't want to be in it. Within 12 hours, he had redug the entire thing.
That's what he says.
So he can just have it, whatever. At this point, I don't care. He can have it. It keeps him busy.
Screw you. It's my cave.
Out under the fence.
But so what I'm talking about the food costs is that's how I know that what I do is not a business. One, I know I don't make enough money for my breeding to be a business. It's a hobby. I can't fucking tell you what it costs to feed my animals. It costs whatever. I buy rats when I need to buy rats, and I feed them.
It costs a couple $100 every couple months.
And
I can tell you that much.
And then I feed them that.
I can tell you
But-
exactly how much I spend on dog food
Your
every
husband-
month.
Oh yeah.
But for Drew as a zoo, he has to know what his food cost is because that's people don't take into account that. All right, so if you're going to charge people to come over and look at your animals and come around and come to a birthday party, how much did it cost to open the door that morning? How much did it cost to feed all those animals that morning?
Yeah.
And then you have to be able to feed yourself and pay your own rent.
Yeah.
People don't think of those prices, and so that's why like I watch it when people sell anything, like Robert sells racks and stuff, and you want to hear people bitch about how expensive it is. That's a job. Like he's got to make money to pay his stuff. Like,
Yeah,
people don't get that.
You're not just charging people for the materials. You're charging them for the materials, for the time, for your labor
Well,
costs.
and so at a zoo, there's so many things that people don't see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I charge someone to come out and do a half-hour show at a birthday party or a school, or they come out for a tour or whatever, they're not just paying for that hour or whatever it is. They're paying for the week that this is happening, because I have to feed everybody. I have to pay for the light bill. I have to buy lights and enclosures and God knows what else. I have
Insurance.
Yeah, they're paying for my insurance. They're paying our utilities and internet and everything that it takes to run this place, on top of me actually making a tiny, ridiculously small amount of money for myself on top of it.
My favorite call is when people are like, does it cost to get in? Why,
So-
yes, it does.
So when I first moved to Alexandria and worked at the zoo, it was $3 to get into the zoo, and people would bitch every day. And we're an AZA like full on zoo.
About
It's
$3.
$3 because apparently back in the early '90s,
It went up to like
$7.
$7 while
And
I
they
was
fucking
working
lost
there,
their
and-
shit.
Oh man.
it was still cheaper
Oh,
to go
yeah.
there than to move.
Man.
But apparently back in the 90s and early 80s, there was no fence around the zoo, so people in the neighborhood could just walk through the zoo whenever they fucking wanted to. Oh, it was bad at one point. So they built a fence and they charged $3, and people would just lose their shit over $3. And like I said, when they charged it $7, like it's still cheaper than going to a movie. calm the fuck down. Like there's the amount of animals you're about to see when you walk
That's
in
like-
here.
That's like nothing. It's like $20 to do the big croc tour at Crocodile Encounter. And when I found that out, I was like, shit, that's a good deal. Because it's a great tour.
That's what I used to say when I first, like I said, when I first went there, and I was like $3. I'm like, we're an actual zoo. We're not like a roadside attraction. We're a
So I
full-on
died
zoo.
a little on the inside when I saw how much it would have cost us to go to Moody Gardens that day had it not been their free education.
Yeah.
That's why we talked about that last week. Yeah, that's expensive too.
I mean, shit. I remember.
But-
I mean, when I first looked at y'all's website, because I remember somebody Becca, you had posted something about people complaining about costs, like that you were charging too much, and honestly.
We were not charging enough.
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at your website and going, "What are people complaining about? Like, you guys are really not for what you offer. You were not charging that much. It was just
compared to other traveling like reptile shows or birthday party people or educators. Like, I could probably find 3 companies or people in Houston that charge way more than we do for our birthday
double
party.
Yeah.
And that's not even going into like the fact that we are a birthday party venue for kids. Like, I can find those within 5 miles of us that charge $1,000.
Yeah, like I thought about, I'm still thinking about it. If I have the money at some point saved up, I would love to do a traveling reptile thing. Like, I want to buy an old bus, like one of the small buses.
Oh yeah.
Gut it, deck it out with cages, pull up to a thing and be able to do a show and then take that. Like, I'd love to be able to do that, but like there's a lot that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not cheap. I looked at some of the prices of them online of places around the country that do that, and they make pretty fucking good money. But then you got to imagine now with diesel prices, if you're running a diesel engine, it's fucking insane.
Like that's the thing, is that they charge a lot, but I can guarantee you they're not making great money on the back end of that.
Yeah, which is why I can't do it.
I will say though, what you charge is going to bring in different types of clientele.
Oh, yeah.
If you're charging $6, you're going to get $6 customers who are going to throw your turtles on the ground. If you're charging a little bit more, you might get a more respectful crowd that are excited to learn and want to learn. Like, when you charge a little more, you get better quality clients.
Yep. If somebody thinks that what you're charging is too much money, that the value is not worth it, then that's just not the audience that you're trying to attract. That's just not your client.
I have 3 other people behind you that'll take your spot if you don't want it.
Yeah. I at one point when we lived in Dallas, I ran a bakery out of my apartment for like a year. And I hated it, by the way. This is one of those things where passion turning it into a money thing, it absolutely killed the enjoyment for me. Absolutely fucking hated it. But my prices were very in line with what you could expect from any other gourmet bakery in the area. And somebody commented that they could go to Walmart and get a dozen cupcakes for like $10. And I'm like, okay, then go to Walmart.
Who's very familiar with Walmart's prices.
Yeah. It's like, then go to Walmart. Bye.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about pricing and everything, and how does it work for your zoo? Because you're obviously not a regular zoo. People are going to show up whenever and wander around.
Right. Yeah. No, if anyone's listening, please don't just drive up one morning and so we do everything by appointment. So we'll do scheduled tours like once a month during the school year, and going into summer, we're going to be doing them 3 times a week. So people can go online and buy tickets for that ahead of time and come out for a guided tour. But anything else, like our private tours that are like 6 people, and then birthday parties, all have to be scheduled in advance. And usually we're booked like 2 to 3, 4 weeks ahead of time, depending on the time of year, especially weekends. So, it's nice for us because we can kind of look ahead and see what's going on that day. Like, okay, do I have time to redo this enclosure, or do I need to get everything cleaned as quickly as possible and get ready because we have, a field trip of 45 kids coming at 10 a.m.
It's definitely not a 2-man business. Like, even with our full-time zookeeper that we have living on site, like, there are still things that get slacked on, like social media or
like
renovations.
That is, I think, the thing that was the most surprising to me is that you think, oh, okay, you're doing this full time, you can get everything done.
Mhm.
There is literally not enough time in the world for everything you want to do.
Well, I think people that they have the idea of I'm going to be a zookeeper, which means they picture Chris Pratt with the Velociraptors. Like I'm going to be working with animals and I'm hands on. No, one, you're going to be raking leaves, lots of fucking leaves. You're going to rake so many fucking leaves.
And just imagine if you have allergy problems while raking said leaves.
And you're going to be doing it in
That there was a lot of
99
pollen.
degree temperatures, and it's going to be 500% humidity. It's going to be fucking miserable. You're going to be scooping poop, making diets. You're going to have to fix fences as they start to mess up. You're going to have to change light, but like all these things that are not, let me go play with a baby otter. That's not the job. Like that's so many people, I think, get into zookeeping. They think that's the job. So when we were talking about earlier about if you want to do that, find a place where you can intern or volunteer. Obviously, certain places can't, but like Houston Zoo has a teen program. If you're a teen and you think you want to be a zookeeper when you grow up, join that teen volunteer program. Most of your bigger zoos have them, and you'll start to learn that, okay, maybe I don't really enjoy the boring ass shit that zookeepers really do every day.
So I'm going to have another career and I'm just going to keep volunteering because they always need volunteers.
Yeah. I mean, that may be a
There's
far better.
nothing wrong with that.
So like,
Nope. I mean, honestly, I enjoy like what I do. I don't charge for any of it. I do it because I'm passionate about snakes and it's something that I enjoy, and I'm
But now
completely
you're
fine.
undercutting the market and taking business away from us.
Yes, exactly.
what an asshole.
No, I'm not doing children's parties and no one's interacting with my animals. Because I do like kids, but I don't think you could pay me enough to regularly do children's parties. I do a couple of kid-centered things a year with a friend of mine who owns a ranch in Manville. But otherwise, like that's it with the children because they're very loud. They are. They're very loud, and I don't have children. I don't have.
They're smelly too.
I don't have.
Yes.
God, they're so.
And they're sticky. Like, why are they so sticky? I don't understand. Like, you can tell I don't have kids. I don't have motherly instincts, really. I just, when people are like, do you want to hold my baby? I'm like, what do I do with it? You know, I
mean, I would like kids one day, but after the fifth time getting your eyeball coughed into by a first grader, you get tired of it.
You don't want kids. It was someone in here that's, I think it was Max earlier that said you need to take the SMS or the Grant family exotics route, and you just make workers. All you need is make a working staff. That's all you got to do. You're not making children. You're just making future employees.
I mean, that's why people used to have big families, was because they needed the labor.
So my parents used to say about
that's all JT's waiting for. JT's waiting for the day that his kids can clean all the cages and he doesn't have to do it.
My parents used to say all the time the reason they had so many of us is because they had chores that they didn't want to pay other people to do. I'm one of 7, so yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we have one.
2 was my max if we ever had them.
James isn't only, and we have one.
Now I'm like, you know what? I
just borrow people's kids and
really
send
like
them back when you're done.
Well, that is the part about being
so
a cool aunt, is that my husband and I are proud members of the Rent-A-Baby Club. So we just like rent people's children.
Yeah.
We hop them up on sugar. And when they start copying an attitude, we give them back because I'm not genetically obligated to deal with that shit. It's great.
Yeah. No, like compared to being a teacher, my job is great because I come in for half an hour with a bunch of cool animals. They think I'm amazing, and then out and leave them to deal with the consequences.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm stuck with them for the next 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
And 7.5 hours later, they're still asking you questions about whatever animal was brought that morning.
Kids would love me as a teacher if I wasn't in charge of their grade.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I wasn't the one at the end of the day to go, you failed me, which I did, and they failed them fucking selves. But if I was just a guy that like came in and talked to them and then left, I'd be fucking awesome. But I'm the guy who has to like punish them when they do something wrong
and hold them accountable and make them reach a certain level of achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the fun uncle of education.
Yeah,
exactly. That's one. So one thing I'm looking forward to is this little like mini zoo thing I'm going to build at my school. Like It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have the kids in charge of it. I'm gonna teach kids how to do all this stuff, and they're gonna be cleaning shit. And
I love how he's gone from I'm gonna try to do this to
I know
I'm
it's
doing.
happening.
I know
this.
it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. Once my assistant
That's
principal
the right attitude.
gave
to
me a
have.
nod,
Like,
I was like, yeah, no, it's happening.
you've got the can-do attitude. Like,
But we're gonna.
This is why in an English
Make
class,
anything happen.
I have so many class pets because they are the fun time that I get to have. And their jobs, the kids rotate out who takes care of what. And
I'm gonna have kids raising feeders. They're gonna be raising dubias and they're gonna be raising mealworms.
at this point in the year, my animals are completely sustained by my children. Like 100%. Whoever our bearded dragon person today, this afternoon, they went over, they got the feeding tongs out from the cabinet where they are. They got the super worms out, dropped a couple in her bowl, stood there, let her eat them, and then dropped a couple more. Like I have them trained. It's beautiful.
I don't have a small army
And
to
they're
take
8.
care of my zoo. I have a zoo, but I'm the only employee.
Yeah.
And I don't get paid
Doesn't
anything.
allow animals in the classroom. I don't know why. Nope.
Oh,
I
that's
wanted to bring
lame.
our-
I know why. You've told me about your kids.
I wanted to bring our prairie dog for Groundhog Day to introduce to all of the second graders, and the principal was like, "Mm-mm."
That's so
Oh, wow.
lame.
Oh,
The
Knowing
only-
prairie dog, I'm glad.
The only thing our principal has said no to is the snake.
My assistant principal originally said that everything had to have legs. I told him they'd have an average of 4 legs. So we're good. But once because there apparently there have been snakes there in the past to other people and they've gotten out. I said yes, but none of those people that kept snakes, one, were a zookeeper at one point.
Yeah, they were.
And 2, none of them kept snakes the way I keep snake. Like with
Yeah.
them having a snake and me having a snake, not the same thing.
Yeah. 100%.
I've seen the
I will
setups
say,
of
escapes happen. We had one of our baby carpet pythons disappear a couple weeks ago, and then I found her in a cabinet sitting on a mug looking at me when I opened the door.
I can luckily.
I found one in a dishwasher one time.
Left it open.
That was a big ass boa.
That was. We yeah.
I luckily have not lost anything or had anything get out in well over 10 years.
knock
Oh,
on wood.
yeah.
I knock
Well, you just
knock
jinxed it.
on wood.
No, I'm still good. No.
I have only ever misplaced a tortoise once. It was Darren when I was taking care of him, and
I did have a tortoise get out,
he didn't technically
but it was already outside.
escape. I let him. I was letting him free roam our backyard, and I forgot about him. And so he went on an adventure for a few days because I forgot to put him back in his fenced off area.
Our smaller sulcata found the 1 weak spot in the fence between our yard and our neighbor's yard. So our 83-year-old neighbor comes over
Because I think one of your tortoises are in my yard.
because he loves to come and just like hang out on the fence and like talk to
Well, because like
tortoises.
in the tortoise yard, they can't get out where
Oh,
they are. That is like it's escape proof. But I put the small ones over the fence in the chain link part of our backyard,
Oh
to eat
yeah.
the grass.
and they found one part where the chain link is not connected to the ground, and she just went right through it.
I'm just glad she didn't like mow over his garden because then I
I'm
would
just glad we
felt
found
like
her.
bad. Like
Although
oh,
now
Freedom.
she's a little mentally off and may not make it, but she was good at one point.
Yeah, my Darren became famous in our neighborhood because of his 2 escapes.
his walkabout.
Yes, his unauthorized walkabouts.
All right, so let's go through some of the things that are on our discussion group page.
Yeah.
Bryant McDowell posted a picture. It's a Photoshop of a kid riding an alligator. It's very Florida looking. Megan posted a picture of an eyelash. Is that an eyelash viper? It's an eyelash viper. You posted the picture.
I did post that picture. It was from forgot the guy's name, the photography page. He's got some really cool freaking pictures on there.
And then Victor posted a picture of a snake eating a python. I think it's a taipan, but it's a brown snake. It's a brown snake eating a carpet python, which is kind of a cool picture.
Oh, I see that. Wait, no, hold on. That's a indigo eating a rat
Yeah,
snake.
that's a different one. It's indigo eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I forget that Australia has that fucking shit just in their backyard. Like we're like, oh yeah, garter snake, and they're like, oh, no, this is a king brown eating a fucking carpet python. It's a different world. Such a fucking different world. They have completely different issues than we
Oh
have.
yeah, I see it. That is crazy. Yeah, no, I always like telling people about like in Australia, carpet pythons are like one of the most common snakes people see. And while I'm holding this almost 7-foot carpet, and they're like, Are you kidding me?
Yep. I posted a video of a guy opening the stomach of a bass that had a live baby turtle in it.
I saw that.
Oh yeah.
That
Like,
was freaking
They
cool.
rinsed the turtle off and it was fine.
He was still alive. Lucky bastard.
Ryan Gosling posted a video of little baby alligators hatching. That was cute. Oh, I posted the one of the emerald tree boa yawning. Where it's like,
with like
Yeah.
the jacked
where people
up
are
mouth.
like, animals yawning is so cute. And then it's a picture of an emerald tree, but it looks like Predator. Fucking thing just realigning his jaw. And it's like,
Okay, so real quick, are any of you familiar with the webcomic Pixie and Brutus?
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
So
Katie is. You gotta talk
okay,
on the
I'm
microphone.
sure she'll show it
Yes.
to you later. But that same artist did a series based on that video of like a family going to a pet store, and the little girl sees the snake.
I've
yawning.
seen that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And there's like a
Oh,
whole
that one,
series of
yes.
it now, and it's so cute. I love it.
I forgot.
Pixie
What
and
it was
Brutus
called.
is on my comic book app that you make fun of me for reading.
Gotcha. Reggie Raven posted pictures of those flying geckos laid eggs in their cage. That's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Nathan Hogan posted a thing of a crocodile farm in Australia, which is always interesting. And then Nathan also posted a picture of the Loch Ness monster.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mhm.
In case anybody's curious,
The pink
it's a
Loch Ness
I
monster.
wish.
it's a pink Loch Ness monster
I saw that.
attached to a whale.
I could have gone my entire life not seeing that.
Oh my god!
It really though. Look, when you really see that though, you go, I can kind of see how drunk sailors thought there were
yeah.
sea monsters. If you look out and also this giant dick is flopping around in the air.
Especially if it's dark.
Oh, 100%.
You know? Like,
oh yeah.
This was the most Florida video I've seen. Ryan Gosling posted it. It's a fucking possum trying to run away from an alligator, and then he just freezes, and the alligator grabs him and takes him back into the water.
that hurt my heart because
What?
I love alligators, but I also love possums.
I
They're
love
like one of
alligators
my
eating
favorite-
possums.
They're like one of
Tiny
my
gator
favorite
growing up with
animals.
possum, though.
That gator had,
Right?
and he took it too. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to drown this bitch, and I'm eating this possum.
It sucks
He
when you're
was
like
hungry.
when you like love all animals because then it's like,
But what's
oh, I
hilarious-
know this is nature, but
What's hilarious, if the possum just runs,
I know.
runs.
He just
So-
see it's like in scary movies where like when they trip and fall, they always trip and fall.
So we've talked about this on the podcast before. Things that get in our house that should not be in our house. Sometimes they get caught and put outside, and sometimes they just don't get to live to see another day. And that's kind of how I feel about my classroom. Like if I have someone else
So
in there,
certain kids, they get in there, and I don't want them. They're not going to live to see
No,
another
no,
day.
no,
Fuck these
no.
kids.
but like if there's I caught a little Mediterranean gecko in my classroom, like it
And
crawled
she
out of
squished
somebody's
it in her
backpack.
hands.
And I was like, okay, I've got to go put this outside. I had another teacher watch my class. I went and let
that's
it go. You know, a kid had a June bug on his sweatshirt.
Fuck that.
Like,
We have 700 June bugs in our
came,
school.
It like came in with him, and he was like, "What do I do with this?" I'm like, "Are you afraid of it?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Go put it outside."
I walked
then."
into my school, into our hallway one day this week, and I'm not sure, at least 20 June bugs just dead on the floor.
Ugh.
And then like they got stepped on the rest of the day. So just June bug guts all over the floor because no one was sweeping
Well,
that shit up. But
I
we
hate
had a
June bugs.
cockroach get into our classroom,
no, they die.
and it
I can
wasn't.
top that though. I can top that. Not since we moved into our current house, not once but twice. I've woken up in the middle of the night with a tree frog on my face. I'm not gonna lie. With a wild gray tree frog on my face.
On your face. Okay, that's kind of fabulous.
Twice.
Oh,
That's pretty
That's amazing.
fabulous.
Like months apart from each other too. So it's not like I put him out and he came back in.
I'm really fucking hoping that happens. I'm
Wait.
hoping tonight. I'm hoping tonight he wakes up with a tree frog on his
That's
face.
incredible.
Yeah. So, anyways, the cockroach did not live to see another day.
No, cockroaches don't ever live to see another day in my school. That does not get released outside.
But the kids were like, I had one kid who was indignant that I killed this cockroach. And I was like, I said, first of all, I'm not feeding it to anything in this classroom. It is gross and has germs. I was like, second of all, what do you propose that I do with it, honey? And she was like, I don't know, but we could have put it outside.
What's
and
this
I
we
said,
you talking about?
no,
He doesn't want to be outside.
no. I was like, first of all, I had
He
to
had
wait.
the option and he came
I had
inside.
to wait 30 minutes for it to climb down the wall from the corner that it was hanging out in behind my desk. So the whole time I'm like trying not to let these kids know that I am freaking the F out, because my rule is if I'm not freaking out, you're not freaking out. So even when there's like bad weather or like we had a lockdown the other day that was not a drill. Like, you know, I'm like, what's my rule? And the whole class will say, if you're not freaking out, we're not freaking out. I'm like, yeah. That cockroach didn't make it.
Free plug. Also another post. Free plug to Debbie at Reptiles to You. I just got it was a post that I shared, and Debbie at Reptiles to You is a hero. So if you ship reptiles, I don't care about those other people. I'm gonna steal a line from Ricky Bobby. But you've never seen that either, have you?
If you're not first, you're last.
No, that's a good one though.
I spent $1 on that movie.
You underpaid.
And
you underpaid. That is an amazing movie. That is an American classic.
I regret.
Shut up right now.
I regret that I will never see that dollar again.
You're a monster.
Movie I have ever seen in my
Talladega
life.
Nights is one of the best movies of all time.
It is atrocious.
All right, now we're taking a vote.
The only reason it was as good as it was is because of who I watched it with the first time I saw it.
Drew, please tell me you like Talladega Nights.
I've never seen it all the way through.
Oh, come on.
Anyways, hate that movie
at the end,
so
he does
much.
a clip where he's doing a bunch of jokes as if he's doing commercials, and he does one for Big Red. If you don't chew Big Red, anyways, my version of this is if you don't use Reptiles to You, fuck you. Because if you don't choose Big Red, fuck
my
you.
husband loves Talladega Nights.
It's amazing.
We've been together for 12 years, and I have never once watched that movie with him. I refuse.
Well, you're a horrible monster.
Oh.
Also, free plug for another reptile show is the Exotic Pet Expo in Dothan, Alabama, put on by South Alabama Sandbows. I love that one just because I went to high school in Dothan. That's where I bought my first snake, was in Dothan. So shout out to that one. It's June 25th, 26th. If anybody's there, go check out that show in Dothan, Alabama. You can go to the home of the circle. It's got a giant circle around it, the whole road. That's not in Dothan. That's an Enterprise.
That is an Enterprise. Dothan has the peanut.
We have peanuts.
That's right.
It's the National Peanut Festivals in Dothan. I don't
know if you're talking about a real place or just making
things. It is.
No,
it's 100%.
This is real.
It's where I went to high school. Dothan, Alabama.
The Peanut Festival.
The Peanut Festival. I love the Peanut Festival.
It's
is
a real
Alabama
place.
actually a real place?
It is.
It is a real place.
They just make it up so that there would be something
No.
at the bottom of all the statistics.
No,
that's Arkansas.
Sorry.
Alabama, the
Yeah,
peanut festival is awesome.
I gotta go
There's
potty.
giant barrels of free peanuts, so you can just grab a handful of peanuts whenever you want.
Sounds delightful.
That
It
sounds like a
is.
tough barrel.
I love it. It's great. I was making about this one in a second. I'm trying to say anything else. There's some others. Oh, there's the one of the indigo eating the rat snake. I saw that one. The one Nathan posted of a snapping turtle. Looks like it caught a bird, like a full-grown duck of some sort. And it's just floating there, holding on to this dead duck.
That's awful.
And then, this one of the snake trying to pull this frog off a fence as it's trying to run up the fence. I don't know if y'all saw this video.
I did. A for effort for that snake.
That
Poor
tree
guy.
frog is trying his hardest to climb, and that snake is just attached to his foot.
A for effort. He tried. He tried so hard.
And then you, this weekend, instead of coming to the show, you were on the call for the snake bite
Yes,
thing.
I listened into Coffee and Crotalids this weekend. It was a just kind of like a casual, open talk about snake envenomations with Spencer Green was on there, Sean Bush, and what's his last name? Nick Brand something. He's with the Snakebite Foundation.
Way to go.
Yeah, that guy. But I actually posted a video of the call. It's long. It's about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, but it was a really good talk. If you're interested in learning about snake envenomations, it's definitely one that I would encourage you to sit down and listen to. And especially if you happen to be in the emergency medical field or know anybody who's in the emergency medical field.
And I'm sure with Dr. Green on there, it was very entertaining.
It was very entertaining. There were cats. There were little kittens
Yes,
that made an
'cause
appearance.
he fosters cats.
right now?
Yes. Yeah. He's got some foster kittens right now.
That's my only knock. That's my only knock on Dr. Green. I like him, but man, cat.
I'm going to go back through it because I want to take the most important information, because there's a lot of information that was on this call. So I want to go back through it and take the most important information and do kind of like a bullet point flyer that, can be shared with people.
But you post that so that I can go listen to it later.
Yeah, I will. It was really interesting. I was fascinated to learn that apparently there is a difference in the medical reactions between Texas coral snakes in Southeast Texas and Northeast Texas. And it's something that Dr. Green is actually studying right now, because they are apparently treating these bites differently, which that never would have occurred to me, being that it's the same snake, but it's
well, like cane
regional
breaks. They
differences.
found that cane breaks have different venom across the country.
Yeah,
no,
they
I've heard that a lot of
talked
snakes
about that.
Have like different venom makeups throughout the range.
Mhm.
That would make sense, but I hadn't thought about the treatment being that much different.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I wouldn't have thought about it in Texas. I mean, a single species, but in two different parts of the state. I don't know. I just that thought wouldn't have occurred to me. Like between the
It's a big ass state, though.
yeah, but I mean, like between like the Sonorans and Texas, and then like the Easterns, that for some reason makes more sense to me than like North Texas and South Texas. I don't know. I'm just like having a hard time wrapping my mind around it.
Because I mean, like cane
it's
break
really
/
interesting.
timber rattlesnakes, their range is fucking insane.
Oh yeah,
And so from like Florida up, the East Coast, their
Mhm.
venom changes. So
yeah.
and yet there's still one species. So, all right. You have anything else?
Nope.
Oh shit!
Go ahead. Yeah.
So our giveaway, I've got it hanging up on the wall, knowing it's really hard to see because it's back here. But I did post a picture of it over on our Facebook page. We're giving away the mandala from Crafty Gargoyle. It's got a chameleon on it. It's
gorgeous.
It looks so much better in person.
It's really freaking cool, and I'm kind of mad that James has banned me from
Yep.
participating in the giveaway.
It's like I asked Gonzo this weekend. I was like, "Hey, how much is the value on this?" Just so I can put it on there. And he's like, $250. It's like, what? We shouldn't have that. We shouldn't. That's not right. But we have it. We're giving it away. All you gotta do is go.
It's because it's so intricate.
It
All
is.
of their intricate designs are much more expensive.
yeah,
But it's-
honestly, the picture online
It doesn't
do
does
anything,
not
no.
do it
No.
justice.
It doesn't.
It's incredible.
But all you gotta do is go over to our Facebook page, post a screenshot of your US ARC membership. If you don't have one, fucking get one. It's cheap. You should have a US
Yeah.
ARC membership.
You could like 20, like max $40 a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or the other one, though, I think what we do is $5 a month. No, we do the 40 a year, but there's a $5 a month one or
Yeah,
something
there's
like that.
$5 a month one.
So
There's
don't go to-
$20 a year.
Don't
if
go
you're
to
a
Starbucks
student.
one time and you have it. So
I feel like that was a jab.
no, it's not. That's
Oh.
that's the ongoing thing. Because I mean, that's
Oh,
everybody can
yeah.
relate to buying a coffee for $5 at Starbucks. But all you do is just screenshot of your membership and you're entered.
I felt attacked in that moment.
No. And I do have to say to hold on, I'm gonna get that. I think it's.
If you do the $40 membership, you also get a T-shirt.
I was about to say that's what
That's
we
true.
did.
I also want to say to Randy, I am going to get your books sent out this week.
They're packaged. I want to say they're boxed.
No, we have the box. We just got to put them in the box.
I can
Oh.
drop them at the post office for you if you would like.
You're gonna.
I want to make sure. I want to make sure Randy gets his books. But go check out our Facebook page and join this month's. Again, all you gotta do is just post your screenshot of your US ARC membership, and you get this amazing $250 mandala for free. And I don't get to keep it, even though it's hanging on my wall on my podcast.
I think he's gonna hang out in here a little bit longer now because it's on the wall. So
I've
he's
gotta
gonna
say,
enjoy it.
I was right across from them this weekend, from Crafty Gargoyle, from Gonzo and Talina.
They move those mandalas, don't they?
It's not just that I've seen them since they kind of started all that to now. What she does with those mandalas, what Talina has done, just painting wise and all those, and the skill and the cutting,
It's magical.
they're amazing.
Yeah.
If you ever go to a herb show and they're there, just walk through. It's kind of like an art. The way they're set up now, it's like you're walking through an art gallery, and it's insane.
They even have some that if you take a black light, it will show extra details. Like they had one that was like a mermaid, or was it the seahorse?
Well, there's a mermaid. If you shine it, you can see the
You
scales.
can
The
see
scales
the
pop
scales
out.
on the tail under the black light, but you don't see them without the black light. So
That's cool.
They had an amazing like Mardi Gras mask one that was pretty cool this weekend. So yeah, definitely check out Crafty Gargoyles on Facebook and go ahead and enter our giveaway for the mandala. We'll be running it all month, depending on how many get into this. We may run it for 2 months because this thing is just super awesome. And 2 months means you get to sit in my podcast room for 2 months. But go ahead and do that. Drew, if you want to get a hold of y'all, if they want to plan a visit to your zoo,
or Becca, because I know
Or
that you
Becca,
do
she's-
stuff too. Also,
yes,
Mhm.
if they want to come play with unicorns, how can they go about getting a hold of y'all?
Do you want to do unicorns first?
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook at Enchanted Unicorn Parties. I post lots of really cute unicorn pictures, so just the like would mean a lot to me.
Well, you can like it, but you should also message her if you want to have a unicorn party.
Can confirm the pictures are adorable.
they are so stinking cute.
We only post the cute ones.
Probably a good call. Probably a good call.
And then for the zoo, we're also on Facebook, The Learning Zoo, and thelearningzootx.com. We have a guided tour day coming up on April 18th. So next week, we're going to be doing tours at 10, 1, and 4 that day. It's the Monday after Easter, so it's a school holiday for some people, apparently not for everyone. But if you're able and you want to come out, go ahead and go on to our website to find that information. Or if you aren't able to make it out that day, we're going to be doing tours all through the summer as well. And we also do birthday parties, of course, schools, summer camps, and we have a zookeeper camp coming up in June for ages 9 to 11. So,
and there's one spot left. So,
oh, is there only one left?
There's one spot left.
Okay, well, some kid's gonna get real lucky, and there's gonna be some disappointed ones.
Love it.
So all that was great, and I heard most of it. But I'm also watching this conversation on your
geez.
Facebook group between Robert and this person who's all for killing cottonmouths. And please don't delete it. I beg that you don't delete it.
What is happening?
Because it gets great.
My group?
Yeah.
Yes, it gets.
And like he just sent a message to all of us, and he's like, "Megan's about to
It
shut
gets
this
really
shit
good
down."
as this person starts to fuss at Robert. Her grammar is horrible, so all he does is correct the grammar in the next post, and it's great. I need to stay up there for a while because it gives me something to read tonight.
Megan's like on a mission now.
Please
All
don't.
right.
please don't
Well,
delete it.
you need
I
to
beg
get a
you.
hold of us.
It is the Reptile Gumbo podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, at gmail.com. If you want to shoot us an email. I decided I'm going to do that. I talked to Robert about this, and Drew and Becker are about to be held accountable because they're the first ones.
Oh,
I'm going to start making all of our guests give me 2 possible people to have on the podcast. And then I'll reach out to them. But that way, we can try and reach out and tell other people that aren't just like our friends, because that's who we
Well,
all.
why don't we let them?
No, well, I
Yeah,
am.
I was
I'm not
gonna
gonna.
say,
I'm not
let
gonna put them on
them think
spot.
on it.
No, I've got 2 right now.
I do too.
So they'll send me those, and then that gives me 4 people, and then I can just reach out to.
I love it.
It'll be great.
That's a good idea.
I know, and it also takes a load off of me. So, I think it makes my life easier. Thank y'all for coming on, and at some point we're coming up there. I know
We're
are.
coming soon because I have some stuff for you.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Well,
You know
you're
about
going to
this.
be here in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Right?
we're gonna be there in 2 weeks. Girlfriend.
I can't not be the one
Yes.
that's been crashing.
We're gonna be there in 2 weeks.
My
Yeah.
11-year-old
So
can't
excited.
even come because it's an adult
Yeah,
only brunch.
You go, girl.
She's
We're
upset
gonna be
about
there.
that.
Oh.
Is the she movement or whatever. Anyways, we're. Thank y'all for listening. For anybody that's still fucking listening,
Oh God.
we'll be back next week with somebody the 2 of them has suggested, because that's who I'm going to reach out to. And that's it. Thanks for coming on, Megan. Thanks for coming
All
on,
right,
Drew.
you guys hang out
Becca.
for a second.
Thanks for having us.
Goodbye to everyone online. Peace out.